Australian Formula 4 Championship eSeries, brought to you by RaceKraft Simulations and powered by FRG. My name's Chris Mitchell, your host for tonight, alongside a former Australian champion of the class. Welcome, Dave Roberts.
Good evening, Chris. How are you, buddy? We've stepped back in time tonight to Oran Park, a favourite little place of mine.
Mate, what a beautiful little dinky-die track this is. I cannot wait to get racing on this. The countless amount of hours that I've put in on the sim, driving this track with the grin running from ear to ear. This place is awesome. Although 40 cars on this track, I hope that Lockie Capel is warmed up and ready, because I think we might use some implementation of the safety car tonight.
He's already been complaining to me that we chose this track and we've got 40 cars on it. But I've been here in the real world with 40 plus cars on it, so it's pretty true to life.
It certainly is. What a fantastic place. It's such a shame that this venue no longer exists in this current form. I mean, I guess you could say it still exists, just as a housing estate, right?
Yeah, well, it exists down underneath the polar houses. It is an absolute crying shame that happened. It is, was and is in a lot of people's minds still one of the absolute best circuits Australia had. Fabulous place. Just a cracker place. It's a cracker circuit with the bridge. Not many tracks you get these days with the flyover in the middle. Just love it.
What a beautiful place it is. 12 corners, 2.62 kilometres. And plenty of undulation in a track that harkens back to those days where if there was a hill where you were going to build your racetrack, you didn't bother excavating the hill. You just put the racetrack over it or around it or up the side of it. And that's how we got things done as we finished the warm-up here for the silver split. Now, they've had their sprint race already, and we're straight into getting stuck into the 30-minute feature with Greg Bradley starting on the pole, Kyle Cotter on the outside front row, Tony Baker will start from the second row of the grid alongside Wayne Losh. Daniel Byrne in the Kittens Racing entry will start alongside Callum Newton on row 3, with Lockie Taylor and Pete Zeidler starting from row 4. Gavin Nins and Callan Arthur out of row 5, with Mark Jeffrey and Stephen Crettenden rounding out the 6th row of the grid. Ross Hanson there in 13th. You were cheering for him in the sprint race there, Dave.
Well, he's got my livery on, and he was second on the grid, but he's had a bit of a sprint race to forget.
as many, I'm sure. Andrew Johnston standing out there down in P22.
David Gallo.
Another one of the Kittens Club.
David Gallo's normally right at the front of the pack, and to be back in 23rd, so particularly out of place. Also, Sam Woodland was right up the front as well, and he's way down as well, so he's down in 32 there. So, yep, here we go. Revs rise. Someone missing off about the 5th row.
There is someone missing there. Look at this place. A packed out crowd as we go green for the feature race in the silver split for the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula 4 Championship. We Cotter and to nose in front. Bradley loses out, and look at this, Tony Baker trying to thread the needle between them. Oh, someone straight off. Bradley's off the road. No, Greg Bradley pushed it too hard at turn 1, and Kyle Cotter is going to lead the way in the series livery. Love that blue through turns 2 and 3.
And Baker's popping in and out there. That's a bit disconcerting for all the guys behind him. But yeah, so Greg Bradley, bit of just so easy to do. He's just run a little bit wide, wheel on the dirt, and the dirt just grabs the car wide, throws it into the sandpit, and that's the end of Greg Bradley's beautiful lead. And he led every lap of the sprint race, so he'd be very, very dirty on himself.
I'm sure he'll be absolutely kicking himself right now as we watch from the back of Cotter, looking at the nose of Tony Baker, who looks to... Oh, Cotter was just off the road a little bit there at the kink.
It's a blind...
It's a final turn 11.
It is a blind apex over the top there, and you can't see where you're heading. You've got to line up a tree or something or other, and Kyle's just missed that, but... Baker's been right down the inside and 2 abreast onto the main straight, and I think Baker's probably got this because he's on the inside. They've got to give themselves a bit of room.
Oh, good move from Cotter. See how he got out of the corner and got straight over to the inside to defend that hit. They're still fighting further behind as well. Losh in the tackies.
Oh, Baker's disappearing again.
That's really concerning for everyone else around him right now. Tony Baker just blinking that little bit.
Just going to look, what number is Tony's car number?
Dave's going to go scrolling through, checking the ping as we get that flyover shot. Cotter back to third now as Wayne Losh moves up to second in the Taki's Fuego entry. Love those.
No, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Moving
Scott Jordasen's the only guy with a real bad ping. He and Brant Johnson. But
interesting. We'll keep an eye on that, and Dave.
So this is I'm thinking here that Wayne Losh, he's pretty new to the series, and in fact, it could be his debut tonight, I think. So what a great run he's having there, up in P2.
Yeah, Wayne Losh not showing up in the championship standings just yet as a whole field. There they are. There's Tony Baker going flying through. It would be concerning for him to be blinking.
Oh, one's gone. And it's so easy to do that. We all do that. These cars are there's quite a lot of rear brake on the car, and you get it a bit loose through that little kink, and you jump on the brakes and it just swaps hands. I was talking to the boys earlier, and they were saying, how does it compare in iRacing to what it did in the real world? And I said, there's a lot more grip, and the car in the real world is a lot more planted down there, although you can still lose it. I have done. It's certainly more stable, and you can feel the weight of the car a lot more in the real world down into there through that kink, and although it gets a bit late, you can brake a lot later and it's a lot more positive. These things are a bit loose in the rear down there, but it does make for an exciting turn one.
Yeah, speaking of late braking, that was Daniel Byrne up the inside of the Pork Hunt entry of Pete Seidler.
The what entry? Sorry?
Taking the risk with that one. That was down the inside of Momo Corner there, down at turn 9. And so he gets the spot up to P4 now, staring down the back of Callum Newton, who's already up 3 spots, as Kyle Cotter finds himself in a bit of no man's land right now, into second.
Just sit
Newton
there.
Back there in third.
That's looking good. The Callum Newton livery, another new guy to the series there in his Sprunk candy box. The essence of life. Does look fantastic.
Quite a few in this series as well. There's been a fair few showing up throughout the championship. Of course, this is not a locked grid. You can show up week in, week out, or you can have a week off if you're so fair and give somebody else a chance of qualifying in with pre-qualifying. What is it, every Monday night?
Well, it's the Monday night. The race isn't on every night. It's I think it's about 5 weeks to the next round we've got now, which will be at Phillip Island. But it is, if you look at this and go, gee, I'd love to be out there, you can be. You don't have to wait until now. Oh, that's a short Ford. No. That's a very short Ford. That's going to be a safety car, I think, Chris.
Cody Carlson, the 75 Sim Sports entry, sans a nose box and crumple structure at the front of the car. What's happened here?
Here we go.
On the way into turn 3.
Got a little bit stepped out, and oh, look at his teammates.
Yeah.
And he's got on the grass and into the fence. Ouch. On that corner there, the corner before that leads up to the bridge, it used to have a concrete wall right on the outside edge. That made it even more exciting.
Unfortunately, no such luck for Cody Carlson, and not really a whole bunch of excitement now out of that one. He'd be pretty dejected after that crash and coming.
And we still have a safety car.
There is a safety car being called. So as the field makes their way through, is that turn 3, right before the bridge.
And I think, I'm not sure, but I think tonight there's a little bit of a change in procedure on the restart from the safety car, because I think that race control are now going to call the green rather than the lead driver.
Yes, I do remember the discussion about that.
Yes, because what happens is when the lead driver calls it, a lot of them are on comms, and so they'll have 3 or 4 mates on comms, and they're actually, they're allowed to, there's no rule against it, but they call out sort of, oh, I'm going to go green on 1, 2, 3, green, and they tell their mates so that they can preempt the green from further back in the field. And it's causing a few issues with some crashes and some sort of semi-jump starts, and so we've taken the control away from the driver, I think. And if it's not this week, it'll be very soon. But race control will call that green, so that then it's a fair green call to the whole field.
Yeah, it's an interesting change, and I'm sure there'll be a couple of people who probably won't be thoroughly impressed about it, but it's in the interest of making sure that everyone has the same opportunity at a good restart, as Tony Baker leads under safety car. Kyle Cotter looked impressive at the start there. Got a great start on Greg Bradley from the outside front row. Finds himself in the second with Callum Newton over Daniel Byrne in P4. Pete Seidler in the Pork Hunt entry in P5.
Big chase.
As,
Big chase.
Yeah, that one. Let's get a look at the start again from Tony Baker. This is sitting back a little bit in the starting grid. I think this was the second row of the grid here. Now, he got away from the line, and this gives us the prime view to the car directly in front. Watch this. Here is Greg Bradley.
A little bump of the wheels.
Jeez. Wow, that was dicey. Tony's looking for a way to thread the needle, and then Greg just runs it a bit too wide.
Yep. Away he's gone.
See ya. Bye, Greg.
The good thing is that he went to the outside. He really didn't affect anybody else's race. And even better is he's already up to 18th on position. So that's a pretty good recovery, considering he probably rejoined back there in about 40th somewhere. Because we do have full field of 80 cars on the grid, and we had we had reserves, but the reserves have all got to start because we had a few people that couldn't make it after qualifying last night, weren't able to make it tonight. But so we've got 40 here, and we've got 40 faster guys to come in the next one.
How good is that? Getting a full field at Oran Park and a full crowd as well. Look at them packed out in the house, waiting for the official attendance numbers to come through from the secretary to tell us how many people on the hill for tonight's race from the historic Oran Park. How good is it?
I can remember being here and seeing that hill, and you could not see grass. It was just absolute sea of people, like being at the MCG. You cannot believe the crowds they used to have.
I think I was 8 years old at Oran Park. I was there with my father. We were working with Tony Riccadella's Australian Sports Sedan Championship campaign, and it was a weekend. They had Commodore Cup, and I think they had super trucks there, and I just fell in love with that final corner and the way that it feels around that stadium section there in the final corner is just brilliant. As you can see, the crowd is brimming with excitement. That guy's jamming. Look at that. Who's he cheering for tonight, Dave?
I don't know.
I'd say the Pete Zeidler Pork Hunt entry
Pig Chase
of Pete Pig Chaser there in P5. The 40 car up 3 spots from where he started already. That's a pretty decent start there for Pete. There he is on screen, and there's the entry team in question. I like what they've done with the livery there. They've got the little spots with all the pig's heads. It's cute. It's very cute. That's getting creative with trading paints right there. In fact, they've got the spec map with all the matte pig's heads in the blue paint as well. Look at that. And what is it? What's the tag?
You could say they're sort of hamming it up, couldn't you, Chris?
Yeah. There we go. Cruise eat tie, whatever that means.
Cruise eat tie.
Someone's going to fill me in. Yeah, someone in the comment section, I'm sure, is going to fill me in on whatever that means. As the safety car period is ending, Lockie Capel boogieing on out here, and we're watching him to see if he spins it this time, but he's had no such issue. He fires it into the pit lane and not into the fence.
Hang on.
And here we go.
So yes, race control have called green, not the leader. So look at the difference that's made. It's really made it a much closer restart, hasn't it? Great restart from Cotter down the outside. He's going to tuck it across there. Oh, it's a bit sideways. You see them getting very sideways through that kink. He's hung onto it. That's a really nice restart in first corner. So well done. On cold tyres. And there's Newton looking down the inside as well in that lovely bright green car. And these guys, they're all battling for position like there's a sheep station, aren't they, having a ball? Don't you wish you were out there, Chris? I do. I wish I was in the middle of that. And I bet there's a few of our viewers wish they were out there in the middle of that too.
I wish I was out there enough that I was actually making a livery last night. It's a bit of a throwback to my 2011 era RF93 Van Diemen Stealth that I campaigned here on the West Coast. As Kyle Cotter back to the pointy end in the official livery. He climbs out of turn 9 and then sets himself up for the run through that blind chicane at 10 and 11. See, Kyle won't make that mistake again. He was right on the edge of the racetrack. Kyle won't make the mistake again that he made last time, or the opening lap of running wide through turn 10 and 11, because he knows how badly it's going to cost him right at the pointy end of the field, especially
searching for that toe, searching for the toe. I think the toe in iRacing could be a little bit stronger to be more realistic. He's run wide on turn 1 there. So Cotter's run a bit wide, and Baker's got to run up beside him, but he's got track position. He's holding that inside line, and Baker will try and switch across and get the run up, and there he goes, over, under, and now he's up the inside, and he's going to get him here. That's a nice bit of driving.
Hang on, that was a beautiful piece of work there from Tony Baker. Great fight. Evolving out front here as they climb out of turn 5. A little kink at 6 across the top of the bridge and back down. Right behind you can see Newton, Burns, Zeidler all in the hunt as well in the top 5, all staring at the rear gearbox of this man, Tony Baker, the Pulse Tuning car 20.
What a great looking car that is. Pulse tuning there. Red, violet, yellow. Looks fantastic on the road. You can't miss it. And he's doing the livery justice out there, driving like a man possessed at the moment. That was a beautiful piece of, technically perfect piece of overtaking at Foxed, and just got the run and got the over under. Absolutely perfect. Textbook stuff.
Doing a great job for the man who's currently looking at his best championship finish so far, as Newton having a little peekaboo, touches up the gearbox of Cotter, under brakes, got the curve as well. That was very close. Tony Baker's best finish so far is P47 overall. Of course, the winner of the silver split will place as the first car behind all finishers in the gold split. Is that how the rules still work? So
no, not anymore. It's just your gold and silver. There's no
okay,
yeah.
So the best that Tony can do is 41st overall, and that's where he's currently running right now. So leading the way in the silver split, we'll see him with a 41, which is still his best finish of the championship. The best he had so far was 47th in round 4, 66th before that, and a pair of 71s as a walk Alan Harter getting a bit risque there with the 32 entry. Trying to get inside.
Look, that's a nice little tuck up the inside there by car number 11. Who was that?
That was Gallo.
Gallo. Oh, look out, we've got one big save. Talk about getting it side. That's what a Formula 4's like. You can get them. Sometimes they'll get sideways like, and you just save them. That was a huge save. You watch this.
Callan Arthur through the final turn onto the straight. Gets it
so
really
sideways. That was tanked.
Beautiful save there from Callan. I like what you did there. Getting it gathered up. David Gallo, though, he's up to P6. Watching that happen, he's up 17 spots.
A little bit of a bump there for Newton. Newton's doing really well. He's peppering the back of Kyle Cotter, but he's not really finding a weak spot to get through. But he tried here on that over and under and got the good run on the inside, but Cotter's cut across a little bit, and there's a bit of a biff and a barge of the wheels. Very Formula Ford-like, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. We've seen some of that around the circuit in the years gone by. Remember that that crash in the Australian Championship? That was horrific right here at turns 10 and 11. How many years ago? Who was that again?
87 it was, and it's David Brabham.
Yeah, there was another one in Formula Fords in the modern era as well in the Australian Championship, in the Duratec era.
I remember the one there with David Brabham, and they came over the top and there was someone sideways in the middle of the road, and they've just absolutely nailed him and taken about 3 cars out.
Off the track here. What's going on here for Jonathan?
I think he's just waiting for to be able to rejoin.
Yeah, just waiting for all 39 other cars to go past. No, safety car.
Safety car.
We have another safety car here in the silver feature race, while Tony Baker leads at the 14.5 minutes to go point. Now, they're already up at turn 4, so they're going to have to go all the way around before they join the back of the safety car queue, and then going to have all the time going around again. What happened to cause that? Maybe that was the cause of the safety car. Scott Jordanson getting caught up, getting speared into by the 64 entry. Who was that? Gary Watson in the 64 car. Now, they were going slowly. Oh, no, this is the incident here. What's happened here? So, Jordan in the 9 car. Tag, you're it, and slam. And the 9 car of Kurt Bond just drives away like nothing happened.
Yeah, that's not like Kurt. I think there was a bit of something silly going on there with the car in front going very, very slowly. But I don't know.
And then this was the incident further on down the racetrack. Oh, stop race car.
That's not a good place to park, is it?
Oh, no. Oh, and who was that he cleaned up as well? Don't tell me it was Andrew Johnston, is what's coming up on our screen. Brant Johnson. No, we're going to flick through here. And we're going to find out who it was. We'll go back and see Lucas Burt here in the 50 car. Now, what happened to Lucas? By himself?
Oh, he's just lost it. Oh.
Oh,
Very
dear.
easy place to lose it, though. Very easy place to lose it.
There's a lot of that happening at the moment. Luke's just finding all the incidents that have happened in the last few moments here. Will Spark.
Oh, that was pretty close. Oh, and I don't know whether he touched. Might have been a little bit of net code in there, Chris.
Yeah,
But,
it
Will
looked like they were
Spark.
crossing over a bit as Will got it loose on the
Yeah.
final turn here. Sam Woodland bringing it up over the top of the bridge. Trying to go around.
Sam, another real-world racer who obviously is having a better day in his real world than he is here.
Yeah, not doing himself much justice for being a real-world racer out of that one. So a plethora of incidents. Cue the Benny Hill music. A comedy of errors happening on track here at Oran Park for the silver feature race of round 5 of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries, brought to you by FRG right here on Racestars TV. Tony Baker holds the lead at the moment behind safety car, being well driven by Lockie Capel in the FRG Aston Martin safety car. A great.
It does look good. It does look good. That Aston Martin makes a very, very nice pace car, I think.
There's so much rake in it. It looks like it's at maximum droop on the rear end. It's like a late model on a short track. Just absolutely jacked up in the rear end of the car. But it's a beautiful looking piece of kit. Now they are holding to the left, I believe, to allow lapped traffic to pass on the right-hand side. So
right.
there we go. There we're seeing lap traffic. We're seeing the 7 of Scott Jordison unlapping himself, and he's going to go by. There's quite a few as well. Gary Watson, Brant Johnson, Kurt Bond, Samuel Woodland, Jaden O'Day, Jonathan Veron, Cody Carlson, and Andrew Johnston, all 1 or 2 laps down. So they'll get the opportunity to at least unlap themselves once, get back around, join the tail end of the race pack, and we should be good to relaunch this race next time by.
Oh,
There's
God,
a new
that's a
one
lot
from
of cars, isn't it?
Yeah, that's beautiful. On the drone cam, thanks to Racestars TV.
I can remember starting a race here, Chris. I think there were 46 on the grid, and they went down and around the corner off the start.
Oh, goodness.
In our day, the grid used to be 3-2, so there'd be 3 across on the front, and then 2 on the next grid, and they were side by side, not staggered. So you had 3 cars abreast going off the front row of the grid.
Whose idea was that?
That's the way it used to be in a lot of places. Sandown used to be the same. Sandown was a 3-2 grid as well. So you do 3 on the front row, then 2 in the gap, and then 3 again, and then 2 in the gap.
Couldn't imagine the kind of carnage that would then unvolve or unveil.
Surprisingly, no more than we
racing.
get now. No more than we get now, and I think in some cases actually less.
You reckon? Because everyone had to be that much more careful. That's incredible.
That's true.
Waiting on iRacing for the patch update to put that in. That would be awesome. Watch your safety rating plummet even further. Probably about as far as it's going to plummet when rain comes out eventually on this service. The official races. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Could you imagine if it started raining here now?
That would be epic. Yeah, watching from the rear gearbox of Tony Baker, who is just waiting for the call here.
I think the last time I drove here, Chris, during the course of the race, the 20-lap race, I think they rolled 3 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. And Chris Matic upside down on the start of the main straight. And they just left his car there in the middle of the road upside down because they couldn't move it. So we just raced.
Just raced around it. Our safety wouldn't let you get that done now as we go back under green conditions here with Tony Baker leading the field away. I like this new restart procedure. It's fantastic. Look how close they are. Tony Baker having to defend vehemently to the inside. Cotter gets a nose in front and gets all the way around the outside. Moves back down the racetrack to cover it off. Beautiful drive by Kyle Cotter.
Streaming down here, and Kyle right on the limit of adhesion there, just hanging onto it, used every millimetre of road and pulled off another great restart. But yeah, I'm really liking this new restart procedure. It's much better. From a spectator's point of view, it's much, much better. That's a good-looking livery there on the inside, the blue, white and black. Who's that?
Yeah.
That is Daniel Alderman's in the chill-out car.
The chill-out systems entry, they make some great...
There's no chilling out there. Look at, is that it's our leader.
Oh dear, and I think we can get them with Cotter because
Zeidler's in the lead, followed by David Gallo, and my money's on Gallo.
Wow. Could you imagine if a Gallo here? He is up 21 spots
They're all doing the pig chase now.
The whole field trying to get after it. Let's see the action replay. What happened here? Tony Baker, we're looking at him.
Looking to me like maybe Kyle's lost it over the brow. Oh, boy, oh boy. That's just unfortunate, and it does happen. Because as you turn in, you go over a rise, and it's very easy. The car gets light, it's very easy to lose the back of the car. So
very, very easy. So Zeidler then will reclaim or claim the lead in the pig chaser, who's making everyone else chase him around. Callum Newton, the newbie to the series.
Yeah, he's just grabbed second back off Gallo. So come on, Callum, give it everything you got. We love a debut winner.
And David Gallo up 20 spots still from where he started, having a phenomenal feature race. They're into third ahead of Callan Arthur and Mark Jeffrey, your top 5. 7 minutes 20 to go in this feature race before we kick it on into the gold splits. Gallo having to defend valiantly from Callan Arthur behind. We go back to Daniel Orlemans now, who's up to P11 on the defensive as Cook gets up the inside, and the pink entry 43 for Nathan Cook moving up the spot, and now Orlemans is under threat again for the next spot back from the 13 car of Dylan Little. As oh no, we've got another
everywhere. Gee, we're running backwards in the middle of the place there. That's not what you want to be sitting, and not the way you want to be pointing, is it? Oh, what do? Yeah. He's rocking a hard place. He can't move, and he can't stay there. And I'm looking at this in 5th place here. We've got Jason Depp, who's another guy on debut. So these guys are having a ball. They'll be coming back and bringing all their mates, won't they?
That's what we want. And so it's all about the fun here. What's happened in this instance?
Oh, it's up further
already.
Yep.
And Cook cleaned it up and unfortunately ended his campaign. So we might get a look at that again in a moment. But Pete Seidler trying to keep his nose clean. It must be a short nose, it should be said, for the pigs. But trying to keep it clean here with 6 minutes left to go.
Another one nearly off there. That's
oh wow.
Yeah, they're all getting a bit loose, aren't they, Chris? I think they're all just pushing a little hard. This is a car that around here you really can't push it too hard because it does get very loose. You've got to be super smooth. The smoother you are, the faster you are, and that's exactly the same thing in the real world as well. But it is a track you've really got to respect, and if you do, you'll go fast.
Well, it's also quite low grip track temperatures up.
And Newton's grabbed the lead. Have I got Newton in the lead?
Newton is showing in the lead. Yes, Pete Zeidler back to second. We're watching the battle further behind with Dylan Little at the tail end of this pack, just fighting with Greg Bradley.
There used to be a Peter Zeidler used to race Formula Ford in the UK years ago. Drove a Zeus, an American car. But yeah, he was a Pete Zeidler and a pretty good peddler in the Formula Ford. I doubt that it's the same person.
Wouldn't it be the chances if it is, as Zeidler holds second. Callum Newton then up 5 spots from where he started. We're watching Greg Bradley on the screen. No, not anymore. The sprunk entry of Newton on screen now. How would this be on debut?
He's doing a nice job. He's looking neat. He looks like he's got it under control, and he's been right there since very, very early on. So what are we watching here? Oh, this is the move. So in the toe, beautiful exit from the last turn into the toe, being pushed right over to the inside. That's pretty heavy defending, but that's all good. So long as we're not hitting each other, that's all good.
Newton almost binned it at turn 1 in the process as well. Ran very wide after the kink on the main straight, trying to get the pass made. But held on the way into turn 2 down in Coca-Cola corner and leads away with 4 minutes 15 left to go. Out of shell, up into champion curve. Oh, we got more action behind.
Big lock up. Don't know who that is. It is Reese Roland. And Greg Bradley. Oh, boy, Greg's had a bad night. Started off so well.
He was moving through the field as well. He was making up quite a few spots, and I think that's Greg just pulling to the side and saying, you know what? Yep, I'm towing. Greg Bradley, OUT, out of here. He's back to the pit lane as we pick up on Peter Wilkinson in the locked-on entry. Back there in P20. Still up 15 spots from where Pete started in the 268 entry. I love the pink and blue on that.
So Newton may be in the lead, but he's only got the lead by 0.5 of a second, so it's still under threat, well under threat. One little mistake, and everything can change. Gallo, I'm surprised David Gallo hasn't charged through, because David's super fast. He's won a couple of silver splits already this season, you know. But he's certainly got a battle on his hands here, because he's not making any time on those two guys in front. And back there in fourth is Callan Arthur. And then in fifth place is another series debutant, Jason Depp, followed by another debutant, Wayne Losh. And then we've got John Baldwin back in seventh place. So yeah, it's good to see some new guys up there. So who's that in? Eighth is Michael Carew. Jared Steen in 9, and rounding up the top 10's Will Spark. And that's good to see after I saw him pointed the wrong way there not so long ago.
And it shows that you just have to be in it to win it at some stages, because P3, P5, P7, P9 and P11 all up 20 spots or more. In fact, John Baldwin up to 7th started 38th on the grid for this race. There's next to nobody behind him on the starting grid. And John's inside the top 10 as we pick up Wayne Losh in P6 to start his entry. Just flirting with danger up against a concrete wall onto the main straight. And trying to get a toe here under the back of Jason Depp in the 21 car, up 22 spots. And has a little peekaboo. And Wayne just playing it pretty safe on the entry down to turn 2. Depp a little bit wide through 2. Trying to keep the mid.
He wasn't troubling the apex, was he?
No. Was missing the apex like some teenagers miss their ex-girlfriends. Has missing a bit of some of the livery there on the Losh car as well. Is it missing numbers entirely on the target?
Yeah, I think he's got some weird spec map on the metallic layer or something or other that's gone completely wrong for him.
Because absolutely robs it. Ross Hanson there. Roscoe's getting into tow. This will be a robust move from Ross. He has a big look, just giving plenty of space.
And I think he's got that one. Yeah, he's got that one.
Yeah, through nice and easy. Like politicians passing a bill on a Friday afternoon. No opposition there. Callum Newton back to the point with 1 minute and 10 left to go here. Zeidler, you can see right behind, now out to 6.5 tenths of a second the gap. They're just pulling past some lap traffic there. And look at the gap there. So once Newton's hit the front, he's actually done a very nice job of maintaining the pace and opening up things up.
Good bit of consolidation, keeping it nice and straight. He's not trying to pull away and win by a mile. Doesn't matter how far you win by. You either win or you lose. Whether it's by an inch or whether it's by a lap, doesn't make any difference. The result is just the same. So right. He's doing a good job of just consolidating that little lead he's got, not giving him a chance to attack him and not having to defend. And that's allowing him to concentrate on just keeping nice lines and keeping the car smooth. And what a good job he's doing. And if you're sitting back there tonight watching this and go, gee, I'd like to be involved in that, well, don't sit back there any longer. Go get the Formula Ford. It's a free car. Tonight's a free track, so but it's a free car, so you just get on iRacing. It doesn't cost you anything to have the Formula Ford. It comes with iRacing, and get out there and do some practice, and we'll see you next round. And congratulations, Callum Newton. What a great drive.
Solid drive from Pete Zeidler as well to bring it home in P2 over David Gallo. A brilliant drive, up 20 spots to grab a podium in P3. Callan Arthur into P4. Wayne Losh down 1 from where he started, but a solid result actually. The strongest hold of anyone in the top 10. Everyone else moved up spots. Wayne just digging in the heels a little bit there to go P5. Jason Depp in P6 and John Baldwin up 31 spots to grab P7 over Michael Carew and Jared Steen with Will Spark rounding out your top 10 as everyone else getting a flying finish across the line. The 9 car of Kurt Bond just missing out there. P12 in the end. But this man, the Sprunk entry on debut to the championship for the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries, the official eSeries of the Australian Formula Ford Championship, claims a win in the silver feature race. And a nice.
I wonder if he knows to come and talk to us, Chris.
Well, we'll find out in a moment. If you're new to the series, or if you're new to watching tonight, we do take our winners jumping into the green room and having a crack, and they get to have a chat with us. As they all get to peel in a pit lane, and there's another look at your winner there.
What a good looking livery.
being assured as well, just for you there, Dave. It is, according to Jay Dixon, we can assure that it's a different Pete Seidler.
Good. Because that Pete Seidler would be probably in his 80s now, I reckon.
As the chat section going off nicely on YouTube tonight, so thanks to everyone joining us and watching on as get a bit of a shot of a couple of the last two to finish things up here. Daniel Byrne showing up in 24th position at the end of that one, as we're getting a couple, or we've at least got one. There's a look at your final results across the line in the feature race then. Callum Newton claims the win tonight in the Sprunk entry from Pete Seidler in the Pork Hunt Motorsport entry. Just going to say it slowly for effect. David Gallo, the Kittens Racing entry, up 20 spots to go P3 from Callan Arthur in the Tanked SRT. Doing it for the fans in the chat sections, shouting, "Go Tanked!" He comes home P4. And Wayne Losh, the Takis Flago entry, rounding out your top 5. Couple of big movers in there as well, especially John Baldwin up 31 spots, as we've been banging on about. Jason Depp up 21 spots, Michael Carew up 11 from Jared Steen and Will Spark. As we got 2 out of 3 ain't bad in the green room, so we'll drag them on in. And we've got 1 and 3, so not bad, not too bad at all. Callum Newton, congratulations, taking the win tonight in the feature. How did that feel?
It was crazy. I thought I was out when everyone started crashing into each other, but I managed to make it through, and then I just had to fight back and hold my lead. So it was insane.
How much of threading the needle in a circumstance like that is just luck, or was it all skill from your perspective? As we get a replay of it, of you threading the needle between some pretty wild cars.
That was 100% skill, but no, yeah, that was total luck. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
The moment you actually fired it into the right rear of Kyle Cotter there at the exit of turn 3, that was pretty dicey as well. What was the strategy tonight? It looks like it's your debut run in the championship. Did you have plans of going that strong?
No, I didn't. I think I qualified like 9th, so I was like anywhere above where I qualified would have been good. I did not expect to finish first, so that's good.
A fantastic result there. We're just seeing the moment where you just loaded up there for the crash and fought back to take the win. Congratulations taking it out there. Hold the line. We'll come back to you in a moment. We'll go to 2nd place. Let me get this right again. Driving the Pork Hunt Motorsport number 40, Pete Seidler. Congratulations.
Thanks, legends. It was a fun race.
You had the lead for a while. What happened?
I just choked. That's what it came down to. Felt like I had Macca's trays under the rear tyre. So at the end there, that was horrible.
I don't think you were the only one.
An honest racing driver.
I don't think you were the only one having problems like that, because a lot of other people were spinning off the racetrack. So good job to at least keep it pointed the right direction. That's a solid finish. That looks like it's your best finish of the season.
Yeah, it's good to get one where you're not taken out elsewhere in the race, so and actually get to have a good run. But I have to thank the 4 boys ahead of me for all coming together over the hill. That was I'm just Stephen Bradbury the whole way through there. I was cheering, so that was good.
Great stuff. Congratulations, mate. Hold the line. We'll come back to you as well. And then in 3rd place for your silver feature, up 20 spots. Make some noise for this man, the Kittens Racing number 11, David Gallo. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Great drive. Great drive. Give us a bit more of that. Did you think you could get that far up the grid from where you started?
I definitely wasn't counting near a podium, I gotta say. So just head down, kept it clean, and magically ended up here. So pretty stoked.
That's an awesome result, mate. Again, looking at some of the standings there, it's one of your best finish. If oh no, you have been in the gold.
You think you've had a couple of wins, haven't you, David?
A couple of podiums, maybe 1 win, I think. It's all split, so yeah.
That's pretty good. You're in the top 35 in the championship so far with that one. You're going to be pretty pleased with that so far.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, keeping it clean and ending somewhere in the top 10 has been got me there, I think. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Well, we'll stay with you, but I'm going to hand over to an Australian Formula 4 champion in his prime, David Roberts. Take us away.
Break, Chris. Yeah, no, mate. First thing, as far as thank yous go, I'm going to say to you guys, thank you for putting on a great race. Gave us all a great bit of entertainment watching that. But crossing to you, who would you like to thank for tonight's performance?
I'd like to thank Kittens Racing, AML Technology, and Drive 808, which is Daniel on YouTube. And a big shout out to you guys for putting on such a good league and some good racing.
Excellent.
I'd like to thank my parents, you know, they always believed in me. So it's just, yeah, they were supporting me. They were watching the whole thing.
How cool is that? They're in the lounge room watching, and you're in the bedroom going for it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. And David, is it David or Peter? Who am I talking to next? Pete. I think it is Pete. Who are you going to say thanks to for this evening?
Yeah, thanks Mum and Dad for buying my sim rig. Phil's wife, Monica, you know, my wife and the creators of The Bachelor for giving me Tuesday nights off. And thanks to you guys for hosting this. It was unreal. Oh, and Henry Lee for the post-race rub-downs. He always helped me out get limber. Get ready for Thursday night races.
Hilarious. You guys, the three of you should do a comedy act.
I have zero follow-up questions for that. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us as your podium in the silver feature tonight.
Fantastic. I hope we'll all see you all at Phillip Island for the next one.
Yeah, will do. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, round.
There we go. Always a class act, aren't they?
They're hilarious.
A couple of good smart heads on their shoulders as well.
They sure was.
We got one lingering as well. We'll get Dave Gallo out of the broadcast studio. We're straight into it. It's a gold.
Particularly the love what happened. I choked.
Yes. Thank you to everyone joining us as well, watching tonight. We've got a fair few joining and watching on YouTube. That's where I'm watching at the moment, just checking in on the comment section. So say good day, get involved in the chat, and tell us who you think is going to take this one out. We're into the gold split. Now, this is where, Dave, it starts to get pretty dicey with some, what we expect to be, really good racing.
Yes, but quite often it has a few extra incidents because there's it seems to be a bigger sheep station available for gold than there is in silver.
Well, no one's actually told me the location of that sheep station yet. It's been a long time I've been around, and I still haven't been given the address so I can look it up and get it appraised. But that said, only, what was it, 2.5 hundredths of a second, that's 0.0239 separated the top two in pre-qualifying between Damon Woods and Andrew Gilliam. That's all that separated those two coming into tonight here. Damon Woods has been a class act in this season so far. Braden Martin, Rob Bowden, and Mitch Martin were your top five in pre-qualifying, as we are just rolled through the final few minutes
of practice. And
I believe.
we've got Will Lowing, fastest of all, faster than Damon Woods. That's interesting.
It's very impressive. I was doing a bit of officials racing with Will on Friday night, although he didn't really want to play when I got alongside him, and I was expecting to have a good little battle. I don't know whether he was just rolling around trying to secure some safety rating on the evening, or just didn't want to take out the commentator, but gave me the widest berth you've ever seen at Lime Rock Park and said, nope, I'm out.
Right.
As we pick up, Eddie Beswick is back tonight.
Yeah, and mate, just think, he probably knew it was you. I'd give you a wide berth as well.
Yeah, like most people do. Especially in officials. I gained a bit of a reputation in my time. Even in F3A, I actually gained a bit of a reputation for having a couple of sends that people had slightly frowned upon. But that's not just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Look, I'm looking down the list here, and people that I think probably should have been higher than they are. I think Will Lowing's done an awesome job there in practice to be fastest. Damon Woods second. Damon's always there somewhere. Ewan Baker, class act. Third fastest, looking really, really good. Caleb Hyde's there as well. But as I go down, I go, oh, gee, Kobe Williams down in 9th place. That's out of position. Cody Deeth, 11th place. That's out of position. And as I say that, Cody goes 5th quickest. So, you know, there's a few people there that are sort of down the list a little bit on where I thought they would be. Seth Brown down in 12th. I mean, Seth's taken a win this season already. So, yeah, we'll see.
I'll give you a name that might ring a bell here, and surprising showing up that far down the order. Mario Vartanian. down
Yes.
in 31st position. From the last I saw Mario in the F3A days, I think it was giving me a bump draft at Le Mans was the last time I saw Mario in season 10 of F3A.
Very, very quick
29th
driver.
position in the Feed Esports Academy. Carter in his day, very, very quick in these cars, maybe more so in the Wings and Slicks cars, so it seems so far at least. Down in 29th on screen at the moment, just
And
waiting for Mario.
Eddie Beswick sitting there 25th and Jay Dixon in 26th. Both of those guys I would have thought be a bit higher than that, but Jay's a smart operator too. He knows it's practice. He doesn't need to be fast. He just needs to be nice and smooth and consistent. I expect Mario's he's a wings and slicks guy, and what I've seen of him driving, he's usually in a car with wings and slicks, probably finding the Formula Ford a little bit loose, and it takes a minute. You've got to sit there and go, oh, this is terrible to drive, and then you think, do a few more laps, you go, hang on, it's actually fun to drive, and then you go, oh, suddenly I'm quick. It's just it grows on you. This car just grows on you when you get in and you start sliding it around, and you start getting the times coming and things moving around like the real thing does, and it's just addictive. It's such an addictive little car to drive.
It sure is a fantastic car to drive, not just in the sim, but definitely in the real world. As we've got to keep in mind here, this is just practice, and we'll see some names, I'm sure, rise to the top of the boards come the qualifying session.
If our director's on the ball, could we cross to car number 111, please? Because car number 111 is Oliver Armit, and he's our young, very, very young karter. So keep an eye on Oliver. He's out here mixing it with the boys, and I think Oliver's about 9-10 years old, and what a great job he does. And he's a beautiful little driver. Touchwood been able to keep his nose out of trouble the couple of times he's been out, and shown a great turn of speed. And here he is up in the top 20. What a fantastic little bit of talent.
Doing a great job is Oliver right now, holding on. So speaking of karting as well, the final round of the Australian Kart Championship was held over the weekend at Todd Road, and none other than a West Australian taking out the KZ2 Championship in the form of Sam Dicker, edging out fellow West Australian Jake Clarich, who
Are you trying to get a message in here?
Not at all.
Didn't anyone from any other state turn up, Chris?
No, it's just the West Aussies are that bloody quick in KZ. There's something about just the way that we run in KZ2 in the West, because Sam and Jake and even a round winner went to Nick Middick this season after, who was it? One of the Birla drivers, Marjan Kremers, took out several members and ended up copping a penalty. Nick Middick ended up claiming the win earlier in the year. That was in the third round of the championship, just after they came to Western Australia for the second round here in Perth. So we're very happy to see that in karting on a national level we have some very quick names, and we had a contingent. We had more than a dozen West Aussies attending all 5 rounds of the championship, which is pretty cool to see. We've got some quick talent coming out of the West.
We've got a few West Aussies out here tonight too, I think, but I don't know who they are.
Well, if it was Johnny Lee, he would have been trying to qualify for the...
There's a couple of Sandgropers out there. Sandgroper Racing, I think I saw a couple of them. Here we go, look down through.
Here's a look at your practice results then. Mark Lowing is the name.
Which is Will at the wheel.
Having a steer.
Using Dad's account, I think.
From Damon Woods was second quick from Ewan Baker, Cody Deeth and Caleb Hydes. Some names to keep an eye on there, so that'll be exciting. Cody Deeth, of course, showed up brilliantly a couple of weeks ago. We ran the Motorsports Australia Asia Pacific Junior Esports Cup race on the Sunday afternoon. Cody Deeth claiming the overall win and claimed himself the grand prize worth 15,000 Australian dollars with a fully funded trip to Sepang for the Elite Driver Academy. That was a thrilling race, wasn't it?
It was a thrilling race, although I rather watch these. They just move around a bit more. I find and they sound better. But,
they do sound
anyway.
better than the F4 car, it must be said.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like the sound of an old school carbureted pushrod 1600cc Kent engine that came out of, what was it, a 1969 Ford Escort gear.
Yeah, but it's got a nice little bit of rasp to it, and it sounds like a racing engine, not like something you stole off the old Vespa lawnmower.
Down to the fact that there's practically no muffler, although by appearance on these cars there is a muffler on them. I can tell you the racing versions, at least in the era that I raced, the muffler was mostly there for decoration. It doesn't really do a whole bunch of the car.
Straight
There's nothing
pipe,
quite like
straight through the inside.
That's right, straight through the guts of it. Maybe a couple of perforations, but nothing crazy.
No.
But there was nothing quite like the sound of one of these engines just sitting at 6,900 RPM, right on the edge of the top of what you would like to consider valve float before they kiss the piston and self-destruct there as... it's getting a bit...
Monkey see, monkey do too.
Yeah, it was Cody Deeth getting loose, and then Caleb Balak right behind him got the back end out and waggled the tail a little bit. This is really fun for qualifying.
Yeah, so we haven't any times coming through yet, but it will be interesting to see where this goes.
We'll keep an eye on it here as everyone gets their first flying lap underway. Damon Woods, the eSports entry across the line, and with no opposition on the racetrack recording a time so far. Damon goes to the top, Cody Deeth goes to 2, Caleb Hydes goes to 3. There's some names showing up there already. Will
Walling to 4.
Into 4. That's pretty good so far. Caleb Balak into 6, Max Christensen into 5. There we go. Sebastian Varndell jumping up into P3 now. So a little bit of a mix-up coming through the field as they'll get their first couple of flying laps on the board. It's a short, sharp
Zoo
session.
into the top 10. 8th place there.
Jordan Knockolds on screen in the 105 entry coming into the final corner here. Another one of the chill-out cars. Oh, very loose. Getting a bit aggressive on the down change there. You can compression lock these cars so easily in the real world if you don't get the heel and toe exactly perfect. Jordan Knockolds across the line there. Where does that see him? Up to P19. The last of the cars who've set a time so far.
They're looking down through. So we haven't got a time for New and Baker yet. We haven't got a time for Mitch Martin yet. Jack Mara hasn't set a time, so there's a few guys going to still stick their cars right up in the middle of that in the middle of that front load.
Vartanian here coming out of the final corner. Vartanian not quite setting a time just yet. Is going to run it to the line, and where does that put Mara? All the way up to P4 with a 109.408. That's a pretty decent lap to start. They were circulating in the 108.3s.
Yep.
In pre-qualifying, but that was with actually a slightly warmer track temperature. So we've gone from quite a hot track to a pretty cool track in the afternoon. Here you can see it's getting pretty late in the mid-late afternoon. It's 10 to 4 in the afternoon in Sydney. 20 degrees ambient temp, 23 degrees track temp.
Oh, that's a bit sideways.
August, right on the cusp of hitting spring.
Yeah, it's strange. The temperature's not always the biggest denominator for a Formula Ford. It seems to be wind direction and humidity affects it as well. So, yeah, I don't know what the temperature thing is, because quite often they go quite fast on a hot track.
Yeah, they can do.
So Woods into the 8s.
The way that those tyres behave as well. The Avon ACB 10 tyre, that cross-ply construction can do some funny things on a warm race.
Oh, and there's Seth Brown into P2 with another 108. So 108.8, 108.8, 108.9, and 108.9, the top 4 cars being Woods, Brown, Lowing, and Liam Jensen dropping into 4th place of the 108.9. They're cracker laps. To get into the 8th round here is pretty awesome. The old traditional, going to be Eddie Beswick, taking his alternate line. But I remember back in the 1600 days when we were running real Formula Fords, with the 1600 Ford engine here, it was a 111, I think, was around about it. That was the pace, but these things are a bit quicker.
Yeah, just a little bit.
They're 10 years newer.
They are as well, yes. Matt's just moving aside there as Ocean Colangelo moving through in the 27 car up to P16, right behind young Ollie Armit, who's P15.
Woods just went quicker.
As Damon Woods did go quicker, a 108.6 that time by there for Damon, with just under 9 minutes left to go in this qualifying session before we'll kick it on into the short sprint race.
So Caleb Hyde has just pushed it into 4th place there with a 108.9. So the top 4 are in those 8s. Top 5 are in the 8s because Jensen's there as well. And Cody Deeth's on a 109.000.
Just on the edge.
That's sort of quick you can go with that being an 8. And he won't like that.
No. It's like finishing 4th. No one wants it. Oh, Caleb
Oh, that's
spins
miles
it.
off the road. Yep.
He's done a
No,
good job
don't go
to,
backwards onto the road. Oh, not a way.
bit of a sketchy run there for Caleb.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a no-no there. We pick up Jay Dixon, the 402 entry. Good to see
Yep.
Jay in the Downforce Racing entry. We think he's gotten a bit lost on the way to the series tonight. No Downforce rating with
Yeah.
reports.
It's a real misnomer for a Formula Ford team, isn't it? Downforce Racing. Yeah.
They probably get the smallest amount from, a little bit of the belly work. They usually have that
A little wing on the back of his helmet.
The car's a little wing on the back of his helmet. That's if he's got a strong neck, though, to transfer the aero through the body and into the center of mass of the car. As Jay comes out of the final corner in 23rd position.
Twitchy sideways there at the apex. Lost a little bit of road speed.
What does he score it for a lap time, though? Across the line, and he does move up the order to number 16. So a good run there from Jay.
Cody Deeth has just gone quickest on a 108.5, so he's taken Woods off the pole. So currently Cody Deeth and Damon Woods sitting on the front row, and Sebastian Vandel with the Will Lowing on the second row. So that's a pretty good front of the grid. Seth Brown and Caleb Hyde's on the 3rd row. Jensen now, who was 4th a minute ago, is now down in 7th place.
Ouch, that's going to be hard to a bit of pill to swallow there for Liam Jensen. Here's the man on pole then, Cody Deeth. In the Eclipse Sim Sports entry, you'll see a few of these liveries at the pointy end of the field tonight. Himself, Caleb Hydes, Eddie Beswick, all showing up in the same team as Cody pulls it into pit lane. I think that's him done. That's his session complete.
And Scott Bartane's in the pits now. He's got it into the top 10, 9th quickest. That's a great job from Scott. Eddie Beswick's way off the pace, down in 24th at the moment. So, and we've seen him off the road. He's really struggling at the moment out there. And there's Ewan Baker now. Ewan should be... Normally Ewan's in the top couple of spots. Can he do it now? Where's he gone? No improvement.
Well, that's his first lap. So Ewan actually going out late.
He's gone out late. Smart boy.
Keep an eye on that one. Ewan moving up to P24 on time. He's got a fair bit of time left to go. He's got, 5 minutes 45 left to try and set a time. So we'll see what he can do here. He is showing up in the top few spots and was 7th in pre-qualifying coming into tonight, and comes into tonight's racing 13th on points with the best result of 13th overall in the 3rd round. So he shows up in the top few spots but has been unable to convert come race time.
Here's Andre Yusuf
Maybe tonight could be the night he breaks through. As Yusuf across the line goes to P26.
Gee whiz. Yeah, Andre's usually a top 10 guy. But this is a tricky little track. There's a lot of corners you got to get right. It means a lot of corners you can get wrong. It is very, very hard to put a whole lap together around here. And you've got to admire Cody Deeth, Damon Woods, Barndell, and Will Lowing, because they've done a great job. They've put together, not one, they've put together a number of. Now, there's Ewan Baker, pops himself up into 8th place.
There's been a big crash on the exit of the final corner. Braden Martin involved.
That was
who
close.
else is in there as well? There was another car, I think they're the teammates actually, the Locked On Banter Alliance Racing teammates getting caught up. Braden Martin was one of them. Then there was the other car getting involved as Ewan Baker goes across the line for 8th with a 109.008 there for Ewan. So that's pretty good. That's pretty close to where he was. Jack Mara on screen. Where is Jack here?
There's the hot dog tonight. Hot diggity dog, Jack. Come on.
No, he's yet to set a lap. So this will be him across the stripe there. And first flying lap in the board. So keep an eye on that space because he's gone to P38. Andrew Gilliam yet to set a lap as well.
Well, Andrew Gilliam's another guy who's won around. So, and I know that he was in the top 2 or 3 in pre-qualifying. So expect to see some fireworks from Andrew in the next lap or so.
Yeah, excited to see that here. He was second by only about less than 2.5
There we are.
hundredths of a second here. This is Andrew starting his flying lap, so hasn't even.
Let's ride on board with Andrew here. This will be a good bit of fun. So
We're going to crank it up then.
top
Crank
gear.
it up.
Oh, what's he doing over the middle of the road? Not quite sure. He's not on a hot one. It's very wide. Back down. He's missed the apex completely. It's over there on the left, about a couple of corners away. Third gear down to second gear here around the very, very tight right-hander. Up this little chute. Now this is you're just running out of revs in second, third gear, back to second, or some of them are running third through here. Got to be very, very careful you don't get suckered onto that dirt. Up here, early lift to get the nose pointed in over the curb. Got to use that bit of curb to keep the car in tight, right out on the apex, right out on the curb on the outside, and a very early turn in over the hill to get the car turned before you go over the rise. Through here, up hard on the pedal, drive it up over the hill, full noise, looking for a straight run, pick out that tree ahead and aim for that tree. You can see that tree I'm talking about. Down here, back down to third gear, but it's a third gear corner. This is really quick through here, and you'd see right on the limit of the adhesion out to the wall, and you leave millimeters to the wall, and every time you come out of there it tells you you're going in the pits. That's a pretty hectic little lap.
And that was good for P39 on the racetrack. So Andrew getting his first flying lap in the books, and we rode on board for the duration. Thank you, Dave, for talking us through the lap over the engine noise as well, as Andrew is going to be on his way. He's not got a whole bunch of time up his sleeve to try and get the lap done either. He's only completed one flyer. Rob Bowden coming up now. Rob's found himself into the top 10 and is knocked Scott Bartain out of the top 10 here. Scott going down to P11 as a result.
We're getting changes up top. Yes, we do. Ewan Baker's up into third place, 108.76. So Ewan's right up there. Our a Scottish New Zealander. It's a bit of a bitzer, isn't it?
Oh, look at that. Just tags the wall with the right rear coming off the exit of the final turn and gets across the line. No improvement there for Ewan.
Well, if he touched that wall, that negates his lap, so he won't get a time.
He will start
Rogers
in the sprint race up there as well. Andrew Gilliam across the line into P11 just then. So Andrew having a very decent run. That's his second flying lap as Paul Rogers comes across and goes P10 right as we get him on stream as well. So Paul with a good run on that lap to knock Rob Bowden and Andrew Gilliam back down to 11 and 12 with 1 minute to go. Gilliam, does he get his final lap in an open qualifying?
Yes, he does. So long as he crosses crosses the line before it goes to zero. So they've got 46 seconds to get across the line from here. So I think Gilliam will get another, provided he's got another lap, because they are restricted on the number of laps they're allowed to do. I think they've got 4 or 5 laps as qualifying, even though it's a 15-minute session. That's why some go out early and some go out late. I think the guys going out late are the smart ones, because a little bit more track, a little bit more rubber down, and this does, iRacing does actually get that rubber build up, and the little bit of grip does increase. So I think it's smart leaving it to last run. But that, see how he's running down that pit lane using every bit of inch of road that's available. So that's Gilliam over the finish line there, moves up to 8th place with a 108.9. So now we've got the guys in the 108s, and a 108.9 is only good for 8th on the grid. That's pretty impressive.
And he didn't get to finish that lap either. So I think he was banking on trying to do that final lap. But as soon as that counter hit 0, he got exited out of there and will start on grid number 8. Here's a look at your qualifying results and therefore your sprint race starting grid. Cody Deeth, the Williams Esports entry, starting on the pole alongside David Woods on the outside front row, with Ewan Baker and Sebastian Varndell on row 2. Will Lowing will start alongside Seth Brown on row 3, with Caleb Hides and Andrew Gilliam on the 4th row of the grid. Liam Jensen lining up alongside Kobe Williams on row 5, with Paul Rogers and Rob Bowden starting from row 6. Good to see Mario Vartanian there, finding himself up to 21st. He's moving in the right direction there from where he was in practice and pre-qualifying. So Mario, the Feed Esports entry, going to be one to watch here in the 25 car. Jay Dixon behind him. In the downforce racing, he's got no downforce tonight. took the wings off, and he's still expecting to fly out of position number 23. Jack Mara starting out at 25. The Scuderia DSR Snakachangi making life hard for himself. He's going to have lots of work to do. Seeing Oliver Ahmed there, the youngster, starting out of position number 28. Caleb Dawson in P30. Chase Tippett down 34. Ocean Colangelo 35. And Eddie Beswick 37th on the starting grid. They say the best ones are won from the back. That's a pretty tall order tonight. As that's your grid. Look at the crowd packing the place out here at Oran Park Raceway for the 15-minute sprint race in the gold split for the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries, the official eSeries of Australian Formula Fords. The revs are up, sitting there on the starting grid. Everybody waiting with bated breath right now to get away and get a start for the next 15 minutes of racing.
We're green.
There we go. Green is in the air, and a good start there from Cody Deeth. Damon Woods is going to tuck back in behind him. Ewan Baker getting a good start as well. Will Lowen will have to settle for dropping in behind them into P4 as they make the run down towards turn number 1. Woods gets for the switcheroo and has a big peek up the inside. Cody gives him room through turn 2 as well. They're going to go side by side down to turn number 3. Cody Deeth has the inside line this time around, and will pick up the spot. Will Lowen trying to do the same on the outside to Ewan Baker, as Damon Woods was trying to do to Cody Deeth, as Mario Vartanian 3 wide in the middle, right in the middle of the racing pack as well. The whole field making it through the first couple of corners. Knock on wood for that one. See if we can survive the first lap.
Don't say anything more. There you go. You did it.
No.
You had to do it. You had to do it.
And it's a NASCAR-style big one as well. Caleb Balak off the road. Jack Mara caught up.
I saw Oliver Ahmed there flying backwards and spinning in the air, and what a pity. But hopefully they're all off the road and we can keep this under green for a bit, because I'd like to see these opening few laps develop. So deep.
Oh no! Seth Brown was caught up in an incident there. He was trying to recover from the incident on the final corner. I think he got a little bit tagged on the way through as well. No safety cars come out yet, so we might be just trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel. As long as it's not
safety car.
Had to say it. So we'll go under safety car in the opening lap of the sprint. The crash was too big to not have a safety car. Come on.
I hate safety cars. I absolutely hate them.
I'm sure Lockie Capel probably dislikes them a little bit when he has to drive it so frequently. Let's get a look at what happened in that crash. What went on coming out of the bridge here? Oh, tag and you're it.
It's up ahead. There's somebody's got very sideways in the middle of the road there.
So Jack got off the gas and
see, that looks like Oliver Ahmed there in the green one.
So further up the road, here's Caleb Balak coming out of the bridge. Now the crash was already happening, and he's tagged someone and gone flying through. So that's how Caleb ended up so far out into the boonies from that one. Let's go a few cars further up the road then. Oliver Ahmed in the 1111 all green entry. What happened here? Coming out, the crash was already way ahead.
It's way up front, so it's. That is, I don't know who that was, but it was a long way up in front, and the concertina effect back further. So I think it looked like car 21, was it? Oh, that's that.
Kobe Williams and Seth
that's
Brown.
Kobe
so
Williams.
What happened to Seth, and took Kobe with him into the tire
in the middle of the road.
Jeez. And that's why Seth immediately pulled it into the pit lane. So here's what happened between Seth and Kobe. Kobe's just bottled up behind one of them. Gets a little looky-loo, gets to the inside, and then tags the front left of Seth and goes for a wild ride.
I really love Seth here, and he's landed. He's gone back into it. I'm good. And off he goes.
You did say these cars are pretty robust. I didn't expect them to be. There you go. That one's broken. Oh, dear. Kobe Williams. Feeling it after that one. The whole field bottled up behind Lockie Capel then.
Chris, it's a 40-minute race. or 30-minute race. That
Not even 15.
This is the first, 15-minute race. We're only in the heat, aren't we? But, it's a long way to go. First lap, making desperate dives, it's putting wheels on people. It's just silly. I mean, you just just sit, relax, sit, and let the race come to you, Guys are all a little bit red mist everywhere.
I agree to an extent, Dave. Because the risk versus reward for gaining positions is actually a really favourable calculation. So in the opening lap of the race, that is prime time for moving up through the field. If you don't get the elbows out, you'll get knocked back through the field. It's eat or be eaten at this level.
And as we saw in Silver, and next thing you know, you'll have moved up 21 places because you kept it on the road and didn't hit anyone.
Well, yeah, there is those people that make that happen.
And out comes the safety car, and if you're 10 seconds behind, suddenly you're right back behind them on the tailpipe. So I don't see the risk and reward. I just think on the opening laps, it's just take a chill pill, sit.
Well, maybe that's why you're a former Australian champion. Maybe a bit of a smarter head on your shoulders inside the race car.
You got to finish races. If you don't finish the race, you're never going to win a day.
That's true. The old adage, must you finish first, then first you must finish, usually followed by an insult after that as well, as we're getting news that Lockie Capel is going to bring the safety car back into pit road at the end of this lap. You can see everyone frantically trying to warm up those Avon ACB 10 cross-ply Formula Ford spec tyres. They're a great tyre, and I know a lot of Australian Formula Ford racing has now gone to the Advan. What is it, the AO48?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it the Yokohama on the... Yeah. It's the Yokohama. Yeah. These guys are on the Avon, but they're on the old Avon, I forget which one it is, ACB 10 or whatever the code number is. But it's got the square tread pattern instead of the historic style pattern. The old historic style pattern in the soft compound that we used to run in historics here was a fabulous tyre. I'm not such a great fan of the hard one we've got now. It's really hard to stop the car. It has a tendency to lock brakes and it will let go suddenly, whereas the softer one was a much more consistent tyre, but it didn't last very long. So in here, it doesn't matter how long the tyre lasts because, mate, every set of tyres is free.
That's right. You're not paying for them. Not that the $1,200-$1,300 a set. At least that's what they were back when I raced, and that was a decade ago. Can't imagine how much they cost now. And here we go then. Cody Death holds the field at bay. He's waiting for instructions from race control before we go green with the new restart procedure. And straight to green on the exit of the final corner. And look at this. Will Lowing going for the look. Is Damon Woods.
I'm liking this a lot better, Chris.
Look at Ewan Baker. He's pinballing, trying to thread the needle. He's going to get hung out to dry because Lowing. And Vandell off the road. Baker's over the top.
Baker's up over the top and upside down. And that is Ewan Baker.
Oh, dear. Ewan's night continues on his consistency.
Damon Woods has managed to stay out of trouble.
Yeah,
and Will Lowing's done a beautiful bit of driving there. Saw that coming, and I saw him sort of just back off a little bit, give the thing a little bit of room, and that's what I'm saying. Yep, he managed to stay out of trouble, but now he's got Caleb Hydes up the inside. Yep. Oh, that's a tight place to be going two abreast.
Very, very tight little run in there. That's Caleb off the road.
And into the fence, I'd say. I think he's managed to keep it off the fence, but
he's probably
going to be turning it around in with all that traffic coming through. So Lowing downside, and we've got right behind him Christensen and Jensen. So Jensen in that bright orange JTIT car, and beautiful run onto the straight by Christensen. He's got the speed down the straight. Gee, I'm loving Will Lowing's helmet. That looks fantastic.
A good old livery on that thing. As Will holds the inside line into turn one. I was expecting actually to see the safety car flags and boards come out again, but everyone getting a tow back to pit lane. That took out Cody Death as well. Let's get a shot of the replay there. Look at this. Ewan Baker pinballing between them. And then he tucks back in behind. Now, what happened here? Okay, so both of them ran off the road. Baker's got nowhere to go by that point. Runs out of braking performance, rides a wheel, and off he goes. Vandell's having his own crash. And then Vandell clips the back of Death as well. So Cody Death, although he dropped the wheel off the road, kind of an innocent party in that one. Baker out of control over the top of him, and Varndell got him for good measure as well, as the safety car is back out.
We've got cars all over the road out here. We've got cars off at the last turn. We've got cars off. We have got cars everywhere at the moment.
It's a clean up, all turn corner, all 12 turns. Look at that. But Varndell just going for a wild ride over the top. That's a sprint car crash. That's the kind of crash you see in a 410 sprint car A main event at Knoxville when you're watching it at 3 in the morning on Dirt Vision or on Flow Racing. As we get back to the action on track, which has been
safety car
for a moment, with the safety car making a return appearance. Geez, Lockie's going to be racking up some laps in this thing tonight.
He did say to me he expected to be doing lots of laps.
We can't afford to put too many laps on the safety car as well. It's an expensive car. It's an Aston.
Yeah, nice little bit of gear.
Resale value.
So just taking stock for a moment. Now we've got Damon Woods in front, Andrew Gilliam in second, Will Lowing in third, Liam Jensen in fourth, Max Christensen fifth, Carl Ridley sixth, Brody Shepherd seventh, Mario Batanian in eighth place, Ben Miles up to ninth. Don't know why Ben's got a Cuban flag next to his name. That's an interesting entry. Didn't know Ben comes from Cuba. And Mitch Martin, another real world racer, sitting there in 10th place.
There's some big moves and big names there. Mario Vartanian, one of the biggest movers in the field so far, up 13 spots. We said he qualified pretty decent considering his practice pace, which was already an improvement over his pre-qualifying pace. But
have a look
Mario,
at P14.
Having a good
Eddie
run there,
Beswick up 23 spots.
With a damaged front nose box as well. It's no surprise when you're that deep in the field. You've got to get the elbows out sometimes for Eddie. So he's making some big moves here in the sprint race as well. Chris Barnes up 17 spots. Darren Harris up 18 spots. Cody Deeth down 26. It's like watching the Dow Jones on a Tuesday morning as we get another replay here. What are we looking at here? This is Eddie Beswick. What happened for him? So it looks like his nose is actually intact at this point. This looks like a restart. And he goes flying up the inside of one of the 75 cars. Gets another one, 2, 3, 4 under brake, 5. Oh my goodness, Eddie Beswick. I think he remembered where the brake pedal is a little bit too late there, and but he made up a few spots.
Oh, that's a closing hole. Dear, oh dear. Now, I reckon this is probably where he's got the nose. Oh, no.
Well, it's about the third occasion where it's already been attempted to be shaved off by the inside rear tyre.
Okay.
Who's
So
that going to?
wave by's happening now, and then safety cars coming in the end of this lap.
Okay, so that was one of the Eclipse Esports cars going around for a lap there. So I'd say that was Cody Deeth getting his lap back after the disastrous events that took place down at turn 2 on that restart. Now, look at the timer, Dave. 2 minutes 40 to go. It's going to be realistically down at about 2 minutes at best when we get around to the start. Now, these guys are lapping in the 108s. We're going to get a 2-lap dash to the finish at this safety car restart. This is going to be brilliant to finish off for the sprint. And can Damon Woods hold on from Andrew Gilliam, who's up 6 spots?
Yes, this is going to be a 1-lap absolute flying dash, isn't it?
Well,
and this is only the heat. They're going to do a 30-minute race after this, Chris. I don't know that I can handle it, let alone them. I'm loving this new restart procedure. It is so much better and so much fairer because it really does bring the whole pack together.
It does. It's seeming to be paying off already here as we get a great shot of the replica real-world livery of Damon Woods. Loves himself an all-white RI-style helmet as well as he gets ready to take control of the field. Lockie Capel getting instructions to depart the scene. They say, get out of there, get yourself out of the firing line, please, Lockie, with the Aston Martin safety car. Can't afford to hurt that thing. And Damon will control the formation speed as they come into the final corner. Get the
It's all
instructions
green.
to go green, and we're back to it. Look at this, Lowy going for the move already. Will having a crack at it. Now it's 1:12 at starting this lap, so I don't think the white flag had come out. And we are going to see a 2-lap sprint
Dash.
to push. Look at this, Damon Woods trying to gather it up under brakes. Lowy tucking in right behind him. Gilliam, Jensen, Christensen. Oh, no, more
there's a couple.
Who's gone off on the road there? One of the Vermilion Sim
Sean
Sport
Doyle.
entries.
In
Doyle
the
off the
Vermilion
road.
Motorsports car.
There was
So
an Eclipse
Woods
car
again.
that's off the road as well down there.
Yeah. And Damon Woods again. He's just managed to pull just that car a bit. That's a big move. 36 down up the inside of car 11, which is Ridley up the inside of Christensen. But Ridley's coming back round the outside. He's not lifting, and they're 3 abreast down into here, Chris. This is
Mario.
craziness.
Mario's getting the elbows out in this one. The 25 car.
Mario's having the run of the century. It's just he's fabulous. He seems to have the motivation. He's got the flow, and I don't want to ruin his day. Just come on, Mario. You can hang on to this. I love this when I see somebody who's not been there, he's not been here in Formula Ford. He's having a run, and mate, he's making a cracker. This is gold, and he's up into the top 6. Come on, you can make it top 5, Mario.
We'll see if he can get there as we are. Oh, no. What's happened? Eddie Beswick involved in it too, down at the final corner. He's having a rejoin through the grass, and he's going to spin it out of sympathy as well.
I hate
But
to
how's
say it,
this?
but Eddie's a bit like that in the real world too, and too many accidents. Very, very fast driver, but Eddie, you've got to measure your overtakes a bit better, buddy. I love the way he drives.
Mario's trying to go around the outside, down at turn 3, turn 4.
If you give them the room, you might pull it off. But gee whiz, the trouble is you leave yourself exposed down into here, and it's he's right on the tail. There's millimeters in this.
Mario's giving it a red hot crack, trying to grab P5. Oh no, it's all unfolded, and see you, Mario.
No. Bye,
Oh,
Mario.
dear. That's going to leave Shepherd up into
Too close.
PD5 as Damon Woods brings it out of the final corner to grab the win in a last lap dash in the sprint race. Great drive from Will Lowen home in second. Andrew Gilliam in third from Liam Jensen and Brody Shepherd. That's your top 5 rounded out. Mario Vartanian had a sniff, but unfortunately went for it a bit too hard at the final
Just a bit.
corners at turn 9.
They get a bit carried away and they get the cars a bit too close, and then the slightest movement and there's an accident. You've got to just leave that little bit of extra room, especially in sim racing world where you've got that thing we call netcode, where the car's not always exactly where it appears to be. There's a delay sometimes in the game's communication to the visual, what you see, and so a car may look like it's a foot behind when it's actually not. It's right on the car in front. But it's pretty good these days, but we still do get that, and you just got to give that little bit more room and allow for that netcode. We get very little here because FRG's events are all Australia, New Zealand only, so we only have local people on local servers, so that helps with it.
It does certainly help.
Disappointing for Mario, though.
Does still
I should have
exist
shut up.
sometime. There's a look at your finishing results from the sprint then. Damon Woods, the Dirt Esports entry, claims the win once again in the sprint race. He will get pole for the 30-minute feature from Will Lowen, having a fantastic drive. Importantly, keeping his nose clean in second. Andrew Gilliam across the line in third. From Liam Jensen and Brody Shepherd, who snatched P5 right at the end there with the carnage that was unfolding on behalf of Mario Vartanian right in front of him. Max Christensen P6, Mitch Martin P7 from Andre Youssef and Chris Barnes, with Seth Brown coming home P10. Good little recovery there from Seth after getting caught up earlier in the race. We've got one in the green room and waiting, so we'll take a look at the rest of your finishing order here. Just go scrolling on through there. Some big moves through that field though. Jack Maritain in 16. Be looking to see more from him.
So where did Mario finish up?
Vartanian.
Oh,
looking for
25th.
25th. Wow.
Oh, ouch.
That's gonna hurt a lot there as we get a look at the rest of the finishing order. Ewan Baker down in 32nd after being upside down at turn 2. Scott Bartain 33rd. Oliver Armit 35th. Cody Deeth 36th. Caleb Balak, 37th. Some big scalps from that one. Cody Williams, 39th in that race. But one man who kept his nose clean and took the spoils for it, Damon Woods, congratulations, you're a sprint race winner.
Thank you very much. That was an absolute chaotic race, and I was lucky to come out of that one alive.
Maybe just watching all the chaos unfold around you from inside, outside, in your rear vision mirror, in front of you. Did you know where to look at most points?
In the mirror to make sure that no one was going to go up my my gearbox. So a lot of that race was spent looking in the mirrors just to make sure, I was going to escape, the car all clean.
Had a great drive from yourself. Looking to keep that championship form alive. What do you expect for the feature race? More safety cars?
I'm expecting an equal amount of safety cars, if not more. So we'll try and break away from Will and Andrew, but it's Formula Ford racing. It's very hard to break away, even if it's at a track like this where the toe's not that strong.
Well, best of luck, mate. We'll see you out there in the feature. Take a drink and get settled in to start from pole in a couple of minutes' time.
Yeah,
Thank you
I
very
think,
much.
Chris, we're going to have a little message from our fantastic sponsor, RaceKraft.
We sure will. What a great rig that thing is, honestly. The the absolute maximum you could go from RaceKraft Simulation. I had the pleasure of driving on that rig when we did that filming day. I was actually there doing the filming day for that new, I think it's, what does he call it? Stage 8 now, and that has now become John Lee's personal rig from RaceKraft Simulations.
And why isn't he out here tonight, Chris? Why isn't he out here tonight? That rig's sitting there doing nothing tonight.
Well, he's either got a function on in the esports center, or, and he's going to hate me for saying this, or he's out with his woman. Because that's the two things that Johnny's doing when he's out and about and not in the sim rig. We've got some
Now,
great
I
footage
think-
showing up here.
I'm guessing that's Luke. Would I be right?
I don't think it's Luke, or is it?
I think it is. It's Luke. It's
How
our
about
That's our director having fun in what looks like an MG to me. It's a bit hard to pick from here, but it looks a bit like an MG. And what have we got? A Bug Eye Sprite, Mark 1 Bug Eye Sprite. There you go. Hey, there's an Apex over there on the left if you're looking for it, Luke.
Playing him out. That's fantastic. Luke has footage of OG Oran Park Raceway down through the gears into turn 3. This is some great shots here. We'll live call it, hey? Getting on it. The short run up to turn 4 on the brakes. Back into turn 4. Bit of bite to the curb there. He got the apex on that one. And a bit of swap on the lock as well as he climbs the hill out of 5. Across the top of the bridge. Tap the brake down through 6. And then it turns downhill. And he cancelled it. As it looks like we're going to get back to serious business. Great shots. Thank you, Luke. Bringing us a real well perspective of what was Oran Park. As the field loads in for the feature race now for round 5 of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries. Damon Woods and Will Lowing will start from the pole. Andrew Gilliam and Liam Jensen starting from row 2. Brody Shepherd and Max Christensen starting from the 3rd row of the grid. Mitch Martin and Andre Youssef from row 4, with Chris Barnes and Seth Brown rounding out your top 10 starters from Jordan Knuckles and Jay Dixon. The No Downforce Racing entry out of position 12. Jack Marrow, look at that, down in P16. Sebastian Barndell down in P24. There's a couple of big names already. Paul Rogers down in P17 there on the next page. As we go further back there, Mario Vartanian, P25, after fighting for P5 on the final lap there. Ewan Baker down P32, Eddie Beswick P31. As the revs come up, let's get set to go. and straight into it. Greens are in the air. Will Lowing with a decent start, but Damon Woods moves over to shut down that conversation on the run down towards turn 1. But Lowing's not giving up. He's tucked under his gearbox, and around the outside, Andrew Gilliam is going to try to make it stick, but tucks back in for third, or does he? He gets hung out to dry a little bit, but behind is Jensen, who's going to settle in for P4 here as...
Oh, there's
Liam
somebody
goes for peekaboo.
upside down back in turn 1 there, right in the back of the picture.
There it is.
Is it
It's a
Beswick?
car.
I'm guessing it's
gonna hazard a guess.
Beswick.
I'm going to hazard that guess and say Cody
Oh,
D.
it's Cody D.
Cody
Oh,
D.
dear.
Oh, dear. From being that fast in qualifying, it has not worked out tonight for Cody.
Not the start he was hoping for. My apologies to Eddie, because I thought that looked like him. It's his livery. But I forgot Cody's got the same livery back there. But I knew Eddie was starting right back in that pack, and it's a dangerous place to be back there. And Gilliam has grabbed second spot here off Lowing, and he's trying to halt the escape of the rapid escape that's being made by Damon Woods. Yeah, Damon's pulled a good second or more there in the first flying lap. We have 1.2 seconds in the first flying lap. That's a big little break. Whoa,
Look at this fight going on.
rest.
Oh, this is incredible. Liam Jensen holding P4. Got the
That's Mitch
outside
Martin.
line. Touches the grass, but Mitch Martin gets the spot from him. Andre Yusuf in there as well, trying to make it happen. Jensen's going to split between the two of them, defending the inside line down towards turn 3. And Yusuf's going to try around the outside, dropping a wheel off in the grass on the exit, and still on the outside down in turn 4. Still on the outside, the left rear tire is right there. And Yusuf, eventually, he has to give up this spot, but he's still keeping the elbows out. He's going to still hold the outside at turn 6 and 7.
He's got
and
it.
he gets it. Andre Yusuf, take a bow. Who's off the road there? Scott Bartain, is it? Or Eddie Beswick was off the road as well. So Beswick falling down the order after making up a couple of spots in the
Safety
opening
car.
lap.
We have a safety car again, Chris.
Oh dear. It didn't take long, did it?
I hate the safety car.
I love that move from Andre Yusuf, though. Around the outside at
Yeah, that
4,
was good.
5, 6, and gets the spot into
Now
7.
watch this.
Here's
This
the
is Cody
replay.
Deeth, lap 1. So, oh look, car's gone there. Car 28, whoever that is. And there's Deeth being launched. Look at this. And I saw it in the background. Excuse me, boys, while I go
Straight
through
through.
here, upside down and backwards.
My goodness.
Sorry, team.
Good luck. A good
he wave on the way through?
Cody. But man, oh man, did he miss them entirely as well? Let's watch
Yeah.
that again here from Cody Deeth. Brilliant piece of stunt driving from the Williams eSports driver. He just rides
Just
the wheel. He
pick
rides
the
the
wheel.
left front as well.
Gone. And what's hilarious is here that as he goes past his teammates upside down and backwards, and he's looking right at them. Hi, boys.
See you later, boys. Cody Deeth going for a
dear.
ride. Wow, oh wow. Well, that's unfortunate because that's Cody's
wild
night
stuff.
from bad to worse to
Terrible.
looking to maybe sell the computer at the end of the evening. Are we getting another replay? No, this is a different shot here. This is Andrew Gilliam and Will Lowing. What happened here? This is on the way down into turn number 9. Lowing just getting a little bit close. I love the slow-mo, by the way, thanks to Luke. As they get into it through turn 8. Oh, look at Jensen behind. Is that what
Out
we're
of
looking
shape.
for? Jensen, way
Big time
out
out
of
of
shape. Good save there, though, from Liam Jensen. He holds P7 behind the safety car right now. Here's another look at it in real time. Jensen getting it very crossed up. Just touched the edge of the grass there.
Nice save.
Oh, good job from
Big
Liam
save.
Jensen. A big moment down there at turn 9. So that we'll see. We're going to go another lap behind the FRG Aston Martin safety car here. Now, hang on. Is this an incident under safety car? This is Oliver Armitt. Just checking up a little
You
bit.
don't need to be too close, boys. Just back off.
What are we seeing here from the youngster? Oh, they're doing the old concertina effect.
Yeah.
Getting checked up and whatnot. Kobe Williams on shot. Wait, oh dear. He rides the
Oh,
wheel.
somebody else in the background there. Is it
Someone else
Ben
going
Miles, I'm guessing? Taking a
Cody
punt
was-
on the livery.
And then Cody was backwards. Now this was
That's
Darren Harris. This was before the safety car came out in the 31 car. That was him stationary, but I'm not sure what happened. Back on board with Kobe Williams now, who got a big old Shianta
No,
from one of
was
the
it.
Eclipse cars.
So
and
who
then
was
the
it?
Vermilion car. That was it the 92? It was. Caleb Hydes giving him the old hello under brakes.
Oh,
Kobe went for a ride, and then
then
the
who's
24
that in the air?
That's the 24 of Sean Doyle
Oh, it's Sean Doyle.
as a
That was
result
Ben
of
Miles. It's Sean Doyle. Wow.
big old ride.
A lot of
Unfortunately
air
for a
happening
lot of
out there, isn't it? It's like watching the X Games of Formula Fords.
Well, they do have that nature with the exposed tyres and the no wings to really dampen the blow if you run into someone. It grabs the underbody of the car and slingshots it into the air. I learned that the hard way at 16 years old. I ran into the right rear of the guy who was actually my sponsor, was funding my racing at the time, and I went flying through the air about 25 meters before I came down and turned my brand new Formula Ford into a canoe. And that was my first race meeting in a Formula Ford. As we go back to greens,
Green
called by the
and
stewards. Look at that.
race
Super
controls
tight on the
called it.
restart.
And I think Damon Woods looks like he's missed this one, and Will Lowing is down the inside as quick as a jackrabbit down the inside, and he's grabbed the lead. And then we've got Yusuf trying to, is it Yusuf? No, it is who's in the black and white car? Is that Yusuf? He's
It is
pushing his
that.
way.
It is
Trying.
that.
There's 3 black and white cars. I wish these guys would get different liveries.
Well, it's Yusuf, it's Andrew Gilliam, and it's Seth Brown. But Yusuf at the pointy end of it, he's got the red helmet. Jay Dixon
Mitch-
making a bit of a move.
Mitch Martin there in the middle of that as well. So Mitch Martin there in 4th. But oh no, that looks like who's involved in that? 37.
Yeah, that and the 37 car.
Okay,
Which
I
is
thought it was
Seth
our
Brown.
leaders, but our leaders look like they've escaped. And there in 8th place is good old Mario's back to 8th place. He's coming
Look
back.
at this. Will Lowing's grabbed the lead amongst all of that.
But he did that on the restart, Chris. He just got a little bit better drive when it went green. He seemed to get on that pedal just that little fraction quicker than Damon did. Got the wheel up the inside, and Damon couldn't cover it. So now you got Will diving down the inside, trying to make Damon Woods go around the outside. I mean, these guys battle it in a real Formula Ford. Both of them do battle hard with each other. It's interesting to see them doing it here on screen in the sim world as well. Fantastic. But and now we'll watch Woods up here. He's going to sit right behind him. He's not going to try and overtake. He's just going to sit behind him because there's nowhere to pass. What he's got to do is not lose any ground, stay within touch, but not too close because we don't want an incident. So he's going to look at that. And what he's going to do is when they come down to that very last corner of the straight, you'll see him try and get a run. So he'll try and have a little bit more mid-corner speed so he comes onto the start-finish line. But at the moment, Lowing's making a little break. He's gotten away from Woods through this fabulous rolling hill. That's a beautiful move there from Andrew Gilliam. Up the inside of Andre Yusuf, so his teammates. God, who's who in the zoo? But look, these 2 front cars, they've just taken 2.5 seconds, and they're off and going. And that's that 9. That's Yusuf tapping the wall there on the way out, letting Mitch Martin by, and Jensen right in his wheel tracks as well. So, but look at this, and Woods has grabbed the lead sideways down the inside, down that inside lane, and he's managed to keep that pointed the right way. That was a wild ride down through the kink, and Lowing's sitting right there behind him. So yeah, I was talking about that mid corner speed run onto the straight, and that's exactly what Woods has done to get that speed to get down the inside. Look at the car sideways here, down the inside, throws it down the inside, and then squares the car up, jumps on the brakes good and hard, and pulls it into the first corner. That's a big move. Oh, Lowing a bit sideways over the crest there, and lost a little bit of pace, but he's going to try and do that back. So you'll see him try and do that same thing that Damon did last time round, but he's dropped back a little bit. I think he can probably get this from here. He doesn't want to be too close. If you're too close, you can't get that toe. You've got to be back enough that you can charge the car down into that hole. No, he's lost the run. See, on the exit here, he didn't have the speed on Damon's got a little bit more speed onto the straight. Lowing will now close in on him with the toe, but he's not in a position to make it pass. So he'll add all that up and spend next lap trying to put himself back into position to try it again.
Yeah, I think Will Lowing hurt himself on the very deep run he made into the final corner. That was a short of Mario Vartanian, and that is him off the road at turn 1. Ewan Baker sliding on through, and Mario trying to rejoin the pack without steering it into somebody who's unsuspectingly just making their way down into turn 2. So Mario going down the order to 21st now, just in front of Eddie Beswick, actually. Eddie having a run here, so I think these two are a little bit mates, so play fairly for the most part as they fight it out down in 20 and 21. Oliver Ahmed back to P19. Good recovery there from Ollie after being well deep in the field.
Here's Jack Mara up into the top 10, 9th place in the hot dog. He's got the hot dog fired up tonight, so working hard here on Braden Martin in front. Oh, Braden's lost the rear halfway through the corner. You saw it step out, bite, throw the front at the wall, and he's had to back out of the throttle to save it on the wall, and through goes the hot dog. And moving in on the back there, I can see right on the back of them is, now who's that? Caleb Dawson, isn't it? In the black and orange car. So I think that's Caleb Dawson and Ewan Baker.
Yeah, Mick Aaronson is in the orange and black, but Ewan Baker tagging onto the back of that battle after he was upside down in the sprint race. That's a late lunge there from Ewan Baker. Robust move.
Forcing his way down the inside of Dawson there. So
and he slips up the inside. Now Mick's giving him the benefit of the doubt here, just a little bit of room as Ewan tries to get it back on the racing line. He's going to back across, but there's no place to make that move happen as they go into the S's here at turn 7 and 8. Very undulating part of the track. It's so easy to lose the car under brakes in both portions of the racetrack.
It's a beautiful flowing bit of racetrack, and it just got that flow left and right and over the hill and down through the little dale, and it's a fabulous bit of track to drive. I miss it so much. I really do. Wish this track was around today.
Oh, look at this. Mario Vartanian and Eddie Beswick getting into a pretty hot discussion about who wants the spot.
Off the road again.
Off the road. Surely he's not pulling it up for the corner, but he does. He did. Just in the nick of time, and Mario's going to get back on the inside. These guys having a great scrap for P19 and 20. These are guys who realistically should be at the front fighting it out, but they're back here fighting as Mario gets back up the inside through turn 1, slides into the inside.
He's down into the braking zone again. These things are moving around everywhere. It's great. That's where you learn the car control. That's why Formula Ford has been such a great formula for 50 plus years. It's because the cars move around. You've got to drive them. You know, they haven't got wings and slicks. You don't point it and just stick the foot down. You've actually got to drive these things. You learn so much driving one of these cars.
They are a bundle of fun to wheel around the racetrack as Eddie just lining up right on the gearbox of Mario Vartanian. They come out of turn 6, then down the hill on the brakes to 7. Change directions very quickly. It's easy enough to lose the car there at the transition between 7 and 8. Back up through 9. Maximizing the exit on that fast run through the blind chicane here at 10. Then 11. Eddie jumping over the curb and almost fires it in. Oh, no, he did fire it into him. There we go. Yep. Mario is a sitting duck.
I think you'll see Eddie getting a bit of a drive-through for that one, I think.
Bit of a rough read for Mario.
That really was a little bit of a argy-bargy push around and out of town. So
Eddie was just buried into the throttle. Yeah. And he's gone around as well, so he didn't get off scot-free.
No, he's put it in the wall himself.
And just looking at the field going on by down at turn 12. It's a tight piece of racetrack on turn 12 as well. Watch this from Eddie's perspective. Tag, you're off the road. See you later. And then
Eddie was a bit out of control there. He got it a bit sideways over the top, got on the grass, and then he couldn't pull the car up and ran into the back of Mario. So, yeah, I don't think it was just unfortunate. But Damon Woods again, he's just sitting there, Will Lowing in his wheel tracks, but Will doesn't seem to be able to do much about it. Damien is a guy who makes very few mistakes, and that's what you need around here to take a position off the leader is quite often a mistake. So, Will's sitting there on his wheel tracks. He's certainly putting some pressure on, but he's not able to break him at the moment. Back in third place there, Andrew Gilliam. Andrew having another fantastic run. He won when we were he won the feature race at Monza, which was a fantastic effort by Andrew, and he's doing another great drive tonight. Mara there on the hot dog. He's still got everybody chasing the hot dog, so you know, he's not getting a break here, and he can't get away from them. But 8th place, he's chasing Sebastian Vandel, but he's got a couple of seconds, 3 seconds up the road. So, oh, sideways over that crest again, and then puts them offline for that one. And then you lose time, and you've got to get the car back under control before you turn in here. For I think it used to be called Sutton's. I'm not sure what it is now.
Well, it's not called anything now. It's probably called 32A as a subdivision.
Yeah.
As it's been turned into a housing estate. Jack Mara in 8th, just barely holding on to it. Even Luke chiming in with the peanut gallery comments. Like a punter on a Saturday morning at Bunnings. Everyone's chasing the hot dog as Jack Mara tries to hang on there. Martin has a peekaboo up the inside at 1. Ewan Baker's trying to follow him through under brakes, but Jack can't do anything about him. He's just going to have to hold his line. Yeah. He gets back to the inside, down at turn 3 at Shell Corner.
Baker swaps down to the inside, tries to take a bite out of the hot dog on the inside. Beswick drive-through penalty. Eddie Beswick causing an incident on lap 10. That'll be that one with Murray Vartan.
Oh, no.
Whoa,
no.
And Baker, beautiful bit of avoidance there onto the grass and avoided those 2 cars. What a fabulous bit of driving. That was a complete reflex and just dived the car to the right to avoid them. But the hot dog's still going. It's just they've dropped it in the dirt. He's rubbed the dirt off and taken another bite.
Still good, it's still good. With 13 minutes to go, Damon Woods across the line leads the way here from Will Lowing. Andrew Gilliam's
a bit closer. Lowing's a little bit closer this time.
He's just hanging in there, just playing around. 0.3 of a second as they came onto the straight. He hits turn 1 at about 2.7 tenths. The gap. Will Lowing just staying in touch. This would be Will's best finish of the championship so far. Down in 21st, coming into tonight, had a 28.31, a 4. And then currently running in P2. What a turn of results there for Will Lowing after the first 2 rounds. I think.
And Lowing's being smart here, Chris, because if he goes past Damon, what's going to happen? Damon's going to sit right on his gearbox, and he's going to be smothered in pressure. Whereas at the moment, he's sitting on the back of Damon, and guess what? He's putting the pressure onto Damon instead of himself. Nice way to be. It isn't always the best thing to lead.
That's right. Many people would rather be the chaser than be the chasee or the chasee as such. So it's interesting to see whether Will actually has what he needs to maybe have a crack. And
can we say I'd rather be the greyhound than the rabbit?
That's right. Rather be the greyhound than the rabbit. Be the hunter than the hunted. Be the predator than the prey. How many more do you want to throw at it here? Nathan Verney, the Locked On Banter Alliance Racing entry, down in 23rd at the moment. Tucked into a great battle. This is with Brooks and Doyle. Sean Doyle on the recovery drive after finding the fence that led to the safety car a little bit earlier down at turn 9. That was in the incident with, was it Mario Vartanian and another one of the Eclipse cars, I think. It was Caleb Hydes, it was, if my memory serves me, in the 92 car getting involved there as we watch from the White Knuckle Racing entry in 24th, just staring at the rear sway bar and gearbox assembly on the back of the car of Verney there going down the main straight. Has a little peekaboo into 1, backs out of it, lifts a bit early, and is going to tuck in behind.
Oh, there's a lot of grass being used there. That's car 9. That's Yusuf again. Wheels in the dirt. So yeah, they've got to think too. They've only got 17 incident points from what I remember. So they'll be a bit careful with that as well.
They do. Looking at some of the incident points, I'm just looking at some of the off tracks showing up. I'm actually missing incident points on my scoring list at the moment, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, whether we can see who's really using them. Ewan Baker has used a few. He's had 7 off tracks throughout the race so far, so he'd be flirting with danger a little bit as Damon Woods keeping his nose well and truly clean. These front 2 actually, both on 0 off tracks right now. They are doing a brilliant job of just keeping it on the racetrack with 10 minutes to go here in this feature race. Further back to Mitch G. Martin, back to P4. Andre Yusuf tucked in that battle with Jensen and Sebastian Varndell right behind him. And then here's Damon coming out of turn 6.
And Gilliam's managed
7-8.
to break away from that battle for 4th, and he's established a clean spot for 3rd on the road, and he is trying everything to haul in these front 2 guys. But so he's got 2.4 seconds back at the moment. Can he draw those guys in before the end? Be interesting to watch.
We're well inside the final 10 minutes of racing as we're watching Ty Blackburn here in the Gutter Night Race on Oz esports entry. That's the JTIT car 9.
Is it JTIT or is it JTIT?
Sure. Yes. He seems to be stuck in reverse gear at the moment. He's backed it up a few spots. He's down to P21. Oh no! Wow, did he miss that?
That was tapped it round, pointed the right way. There you go. Makes it an easy rejoin. I don't think it's exactly square by the looks of it. Definitely in need of a wheel alignment looking at that, isn't it?
Maybe a fresh track rod or two is what happened here. Mick Aarons just loses it down at turn 9. He rolled it across the racetrack too. And then go,
a little
tag,
tap.
you're it. And Ty Blackburn got the best run out of that, because as he was coming through sideways, if the car in front hadn't hit Mick, then Ty was going to hit him. And Ty got very lucky in that one, so he'll be counting his lucky stars in the 947 entry back in P21. We go back to the race lead with Damon Woods still holding on from Will Lowing. They've done a very nice job to break away from the pack behind, as look at Will just maximising the corner exit down at turn 12. And he's right in the hunt now, 1.5 tenths. Damon moves a lot across the racetrack because he knows the Will's right there. Will has to choose the other side of the track and tries to go around, but there's nothing going to happen there for Will. So he tucks back in behind. Damon Woods continues to lead this one, but he's not having it all his way right now. He's got a bit of pressure coming from young Will right on his gearbox.
And if we look, Andrew Gilliam's now only 2 seconds away, Chris. She's pulled in about half a second in that last lap.
That's the cost of fighting. Yeah, there's always a tax to pay at some point on the racetrack, and if you're dueling with another racer, you're going to be taxing your lap speed pretty much. And we'll see that in the gap there. You can see the gap coming right down. It blew out a few laps to go, but Lowing right on top of him. He's had another crack at him here. It's a comparison between the pair leading this way through 7 and 8. Breaks down to 9.
So he hung back, got a really nice drive through the corner and out. And remember what we saw on the silver feature vote race, was it? They were saying it got really slippery in the back end towards the end of the race. There's Gilliam just running down the outside. And I think... No, not quite. Oh, not quite.
Did you see what Will was trying to do there? As Damon elected to go the inside line, Will said, okay, I'm going to hold you on the inside line then. I'm going to give you no other option than to run the most inside line possible down into turn 1. Then at the very last minute, Will decided to dive back onto the preferred racing line, effectively pinching Damon Woods down to the curve as well. A little bit loose coming out the 4 there.
He is really defending hard. I think Will's got to run now.
Here we go.
Down the inside. Yes, he's through. Over the little rise, and he's through on the inside.
No, he's not
Got to
clear.
shut him down. Got to shut him down. And he's got the track position. He's pulled back in front of him. So that was a great bit of pushing. But look who's right on their tail. Andrew Gilliam. He's now 0.4 of a second back. So see what happens with that battling? Because that was because sideways there by Lowing, just a little bit loose on the way onto the main straight. Now is that going to give Woods? And here's Gilliam left, right. Where am I going? I've got to find a way through these guys. But Lowing's done to exactly what Woods did to him, and there we go. Gilliam down the inside. Woods is back to 3rd place.
Wow, Damon Woods getting shuffled around would be equaling his worst finish of the championship in 3rd if he stays here. Will Lowing, though, what a drive. He grabs the lead. Andrew Gilliam up into 2nd, trying to put the pressure on. 5 minutes 40 left to go here as they climb up over the top of the bridge. And Lowing looks to be trying to bolt with this one. He's not needing any other invitation to try and run away with this. He really needs Damon Woods to make a comeback here and put pressure back onto Gilliam to slow those guys up, and that could be the opportunity that Will needs to break away for the race win.
Because Gilliam, I'm impressed with the way he's hauled them in. It was a real concentrated effort, and he's worked hard at it for the last 5-6 laps, just driving, keeping it neat, keeping it fast, and catching the guys in front. He's now there. He's already knocked off Woods. Can he take Lowing as well? It's going to take some work, but, anything's possible. What have we got left? 4 minutes 54, and beautiful move down the inside. What a move!
Unbelievable, and that puts Gilliam to the lead. Oh, he closes the door very firmly in the face of Will Lowing.
The inside
Damon. Oh no, they touched.
And Lowing
good
uses that
driving
extra
from
bit.
Lowing.
Use that smart move, extra bit of road out there. He just dove off, said, "I'll use that bit of thing, get out of trouble. We're not going to have an accident. I'm still in the race." Wow.
That's incredible. So that sees Andrew Gilliam now to the race lead. Something tells me it's not quite over yet, though. Damon Woods tucking in right behind him here. Lowing, has he got damage? Because he seems to have slowed a little bit, and he's losing time. Hand over fist to this lead pair. He might have just settled in, and he's actually tucked up behind. Is that Jay Dixon in the 402? It is Jay Dixon. So they're just tucking up there. But
Lone looks like he's all right again, but geez, had a moment there.
Yeah,
now,
could have just taken a moment to recompose himself.
Woods back to the lead, and Damon will be loving this because he loves nothing more than the great race. All these boys do, but that's a battle and a half, isn't it?
This is fantastic. You can see Damon on the inside defending down at turn 3. Andrew still wants a crack at him as they get on the brakes into turn 4, just tucking right up onto his gearbox, watching the exit as Jay Dixon does the right thing and tries his best to stay out of the way as the leaders come flying on through. Lowing needs these guys to fight so he can have a crack at him again and get back in to the fight for the front. Yusuf having a great battle with Jensen there. That's the battle for P6 and 7, but all eyes watching the gaps at the moment and looking for what's happening at the front here with just under 3 minutes left to go in this feature. This is the hardest fight that Damon has had to race in this championship so far. At the 5th round, the turning point into the second half of the championship coming up soon in a few weeks' time. Damon Woods moves over to the inside line down the main straightaway. 0.13 of a second. Gilliam hot on his heels. It comes down to 0.105. Can he do the over-under? No, Damon covers him off, but he locks up into 2.
Break, and
big lock up.
Through again.
But Damon has an inside run. Gilliam shuts the door in his face. And Andrew Gilliam, great defensive drive down into turn 3. Damon Woods just pushes a little bit wide through 3. And now he gets to tuck in to the rear gearbox of Gilliam. And this allows Will Lowing to close the gap up. It's back to 1.1 seconds. Will could beat the dark horse here and come from behind. These two are going to keep fighting, but Will's almost off the road further behind, coming out of turn 6, almost runs himself again.
He's throwing everything out.
He's pushing at an absolute maximum, trying to close the gap here to get to the front and get involved in this fight. 1 minute 50 to go.
Boy, oh boy, this is, I feel like we're not looking at anybody else, but I can't take my eyes off this. You've got to stay with this lead battle. It's just fantastic. And now, will Woods make a move? Gilliam's going to go over to the left, shut down that inside line again. Woods around the outside. Once he's got up beside him, he moves back across, leaving Woods room on the outside. Woods is going to try and slip down the inside, but he's not able to do it. It's a nice bit of driving there by Gilliam to hold Woods out. Can he do that? What, 1, 2 more times? That's all he's got to do. That sounds so easy, doesn't it?
They're going to get to the start line at a white flag next time by, so there'll be one more time to make that
almost
move.
On them again.
And Will is coming. It's 1.2 seconds is the gap that he has to try and make up, and he does need Damon Woods to try and make the challenge now. I feel like if he leaves it to the last lap, then Will Lowing's just going to be a spectator in this battle for the race win. But anything can happen with these cards, especially this late in the race here from Oran Park for round 5 of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries, the official eSeries of Australian Formula Ford, down into turn 12 for the penultimate time. White flag is in the air with 30 seconds to go. Or am I calling it too early? Is the white flag actually in the air? Yes, it is. Barney with the white flag. Thank you, mate. And now it is across.
And we've got some lap traffic coming up. Gosh, I hope they don't get in the way.
through
Now,
turn
Wood's
one.
looking down that inside, but he's not able to do it. They've just driven off into the sunset. Those guys have got, they're out in the sand. I'm not going to be around here. I don't want to affect this. What an awesome bit of driving they've got right off the road. Woods down the outside. He's going to try and switch through to the inside, but he's not managed to do that. He's held out. So now, again, not much you can do. All you can do is sit in the wheel tracks and hope for a mistake up over the bridge. Anybody here run a little bit wide? You can run a little bit wide out of this. It's very easy to do. They're all on that concrete edge, and Woods has made a mistake. Woods has lost it over that little rise, and he's just lost the car for a second. And I think that's given Gilliam the win. And now, can he hang on to second place? Because Lowing is all over him for second place. Down here, is he going to do the full send? Full send down the outside? No. And try and get there on, but he won't get there by the start-finish line. If you're not in front when you come out of there, you won't make it by the start-finish line. And well done, Andrew Gilliam. That was a superb piece of driving.
So Andrew Gilliam claims the win in a thriller here for round 5 at Oran Park from Damon Woods, who just almost lost it down there at turn 7 on the final lap to come home for second. Will Lowing across the line in third. Look at this battle though. Oliver Ahmet trying to go for the late move to try and grab P13.
Oh.
Right up the rear gearbox of Martin. That's Braden in 13 spot, the 09 car. That's how they'll stay across the line. It was Mitch Martin in P4, Sebastian Varndell in P5, from Liam Jensen losing 2 spots into P6. How's Varndell though? Up 19 spots to go top 5 for the race. Andre Youssef down in P7. Ewan Baker up 24 spots from where he started after being upside down in the sprint race to go P8. Caleb Hydes up 19 spots to go P9. And Caleb Dawson up 10 spots to round out the top 10. What a thriller, Dave, between those top 3 in the final couple of minutes.
Mate, we've got 5 rounds left. I reckon we just keep coming back here for another 5 times. What do you reckon?
It would be pretty awesome if we could, but I don't think that's quite how the championship is designed to work.
Next time out, we're at Phillip Island, so that's going to be fun as well.
Oh, yes, it is. Cannot wait for that. And there's a look at your provisional results for the feature race. Andrew Gilliam. What a drive for that
He
man.
will be beaming.
Oh, yes. Anyone would be after taking a win like that. Big win over Damon Woods that went down to halfway around the final lap before that one was really ultimately decided. He had his nose in front and gets the job done. Championship leader Damon Woods, a solid haul of points after winning the sprint and claiming second here in the feature. He comes home second tonight ahead of Will Lowing, taking a best finish in the championship so far. His best previous to this was P4 back at the 4th round. He now goes P3 back at the 3rd round. Did not compete at round 4, I believe. He now goes P3 tonight from Oran Park. Mitch G. Martin home in P4. Sebastian Varndell rounding out the top 5 over Liam Jensen, Andre Youssef, Ewan Baker with a great drive up 24 spots. Caleb Hydes and Caleb Dawson. Scott Bartain right where he qualified, just about P11 here in the feature from Caleb Balak in P12. Braden Martin, Oliver Ahmet, a solid drive there in P14.
Great job.
And great recovery from the likes of Sean Doyle as well. Back in the hunt after he was off the road, on the road, upside down, backwards and on fire just about to make it to P17. There's a couple of big names down the order. Jack Mara down in 28th in the Scuderia DSR Snacker Changi entry. Cody D, 37th. Matt Christensen, 38th. Mario Vartanian, 35th. There's some massive names.
Quite a few of these guys, looking at Katie Deeth, 11 laps down. Max Christensen, 17 laps down. So they've obviously retired from the race. So
Or capped out at some point because they've said, you know what, that's enough of that. Oh, man,
Yeah.
oh, man. What a race it was. Let's go have a chat with your podium. We're going to start with your winner tonight, Andrew Gilliam. What a drive. Congratulations.
Let's go! Woo-hoo!
Mate, that was all class. How was the high-speed game of chess between you and Damon? Because it looked like a lot of fun from here.
Oh man, that was one of the coolest battles I've ever had. That was so fun. That was just, yeah, that was one of the most fun battles I've ever had on iRacing, or like in my racing career at all. Like, that was so cool. Just side by side, so much respect between the top 3 as well. Like, it was just, you could fire it down the inside, or, you know, get a car width on the outside when you're racing them. It was just awesome, clean battling.
It looked like just a little lock break there from Damon was the difference between a win or not to win. One lock break.
Yeah, when I saw him lock that brake, because when I felt like I was really strong into the turn 2 braking. That's where I got in the first time. And I think he tried to cover me, but I sort of went to my absolute limit. And I'm like, oh boy, he's doing a good job if he pulls that up. I was kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense when he's inside front locked. Because my opti went like green when I hit the brakes, let alone what Damon was trying to do there. But both kept it on the track, and yeah, that was cool.
It was fantastic to watch.
Great moments there. You are defending so hard and aggressive into turn 3 as well. Were you worried about the overlap as you're trying to swap sides of the racetrack between turns 2 and 3?
Basically, I just waited for clear, and I heard clear, and I'm like, oh man, probably my internet's good. I knew it was, it was one of those moments where it's like this is the make or break move. We got a big gap for, like 4th. If I do get a little touch and, lose it or whatever, like, the night's not going to be ruined. I trusted my spotter and covered him off, and it worked.
Fantastic drive, mate. Congratulations. We'll keep you there. Stay on the line. We'll come back around for the thank yous.
Copy.
Damon Woods, 2nd place tonight. What a battle, though, to be there. What was going through your mind on the final couple of laps when you locked that brake down into turn 2?
I knew it was all over once I locked that brake going to 1. I knew Andrew was going to block very hard as soon as he got in front. So, yeah, I'm spewing that I made that mistake because I think I would have been able to hold him off. But, yeah, it's racing. We still had an awesome battle, and, yeah, we won 2 and then bagged some points as well. So, yeah, should be going to the next round pretty happy.
You'll have a nice, solid championship lead. Although, Andrew, just pulling in a few points on you. There were some big hairy moments in that race, notably sideways up the inside of Will Lowing through the little kink that we call turn 1. Were you worried at all that maybe you're just pushing the envelope just a little bit too hard in this one?
That was underdriven compared to what I did at the end of the race there where I ended up locking. So, yeah, no, it's Formula Ford racing, so you got to have a fair send to try and pull a move off. So, yeah, it was relatively under control.
Relatively, I like that. That's a key word right there. Congratulations nonetheless, mate. 2nd place tonight.
Thank you.
And then to 3rd, Will Lowing. What a drive, mate. You led at some stage, you're right in the hunt, and then just a little error a few minutes from home saw you falling back and watching that battle up front. But what a race from your side.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I got a slow down there after Damon and I made contact, but it's all good. But yeah, it was a good race. I was hoping we could break away from Andrew, but not quite.
Not quite at all. He ended up storming to the front and taking the win, mate. What drive it's been for you to find the pace that you needed to hunt the front now? That's 2 races in a row inside the top 5 after a bit of a slow start to the championship for you. What's been the difference that you've made at home to make this move?
Not sure really. I got pretty unlucky at Winton and Mid-Ohio, but been doing a little bit more practice and spending some more time on the sim.
Seems to be the recipe for success, mate. Congratulations on 3rd tonight.
Thank you.
And now for the thank yous, Dave Roberts, take it away.
Mate, Will, who have you got to thank for tonight's performance, mate?
I'd like to thank FRG for hosting the series, you guys for commentating, and everyone for the good racing.
Well, thank you for the excellent performance. So, Damon, mate, 2nd place. A bit strange for you at the moment, but, mate, you better be happy. And we'll see you at Phillip Island. And before we get there, who would you like to thank for tonight?
As always, just like to thank my real-world sponsors, Apex Steel, Aviation Component Services, John Bow Racing, Synergy Race Engines, and Dave Decals, and the FRG boys should put on this for the league.
Awesome. And Andrew Gilliam, are you still up on Cloud 9, mate? Because if you can yell down from up there and just let us know who you'd like to thank, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I've actually got a bit of a special one. So, not sure if you guys were onto the story or not, but my wheel was completely toasted. And so about probably 8:20 when I got on to do some laps, she wouldn't boot. And I had the blokes from V&M Simulation, so our suppliers of shifter and pedal and steering wheels, They got onto TeamViewer, reflashed all my firmwares and everything, and got me going literally like with 5 minutes left in qualifying. So huge shout out to the guys at V&M for taking an hour out of their day to help fix my wheel before this race. It wouldn't have been done without them. And yeah, thanks to our sponsors, obviously V&M Simulation, Mannon Racing Products, and just thanks to all the guys at Pursuit Sim Racing. We had a really good showing of pace. A few of our team had a bit of an unlucky race tonight, but yeah, really looking forward to the next round. And thank you guys, Race Control and the commentary team, for putting on such a good event.
Well, cheers to all of you. Phillip Island. That's up next, Chris. How do you feel about Phillip Island?
It's going to be exciting because it's going to be all about slipstream and maximum attack around the island. That's on Tuesday, September 19. There's still plenty more coming out on the Tuesday night schedule.
I think next week we're S5000s, and I've got a feeling it's at Hockenheim, but I will check that right now. Check that. So yes, next week is S5000. I think it's actually at Monza next week when the S5000s. That'll be wild with the S5000, and then we've got back-to-back Formula 4 races, and then we're back with Formula Ford at the island. So we've got probably 4 weeks break on the Formula Fords, which I'll probably need that to recover after this one, Chris.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned next week, same time, same place, same channel, Racestars TV, Tuesday nights, wherever you're watching from. Thank you for joining us. And if you'd like to get involved with this championship, it is an open grid every single round. So next time we come up on the 19th, there'll be pre-qualifying the day before. You can try and make the field. Top 40 go to gold. Next 40 go to the silver split to race it out for a big night of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries, the official eSeries of Australian Formula Ford Racing. And of course, if you want the best in sim rigs, RaceKraft Simulations, Johnny is your man to hook you up. And if you want to splash a lot of cash, even you could take away the absolute bonkers rig that he has at home. That's all from us tonight. Thank you so much for joining on Racestars TV. We'll see you next week.